Good day, folks. Good to see you. Welcome to a special stream here on 5th of May, which of course is Tuesday. Time is flying fast. It's a pleasure having you here because today we're going to be using this drawing table. And this drawing table, we're going to be using that for, well, you guessed it, drawing! Indeed. Eluukkanen is very much known for being a composer, but sometimes we have to try new things. That's what we do here on daily Eluukkanen streams. And very much drawing is going to be something we're going to be focusing on today. And a special topic. We're going to be drawing animals. And I'm trying to go with realistic look. Like, I tell you, I try. But who knows, am I going to succeed? Who knows? I might be just failing miserably, but you can be here to even see that happening. So that is going to be planned for today. Of course, if you have any drawing topics to suggest, I would very much advise you to tell them in our comments like this. Hey, I want you to draw a wolf. Like that, and then it's on the screen. Hey, I want you to draw the wolf. And that's when we are going to be doing that. That's the plan, that's the idea. These streams are very much open-ended in the interaction side of things. I hate streams where you cannot actually discuss with the people who are streaming with. This is very different with that. Very, very different indeed. So hopefully you enjoy that on this Tuesday. Before we start, I'm going to be saying first that I've been having a Patreon in a long time, and I haven't actually, I have to tell you, I've been very lackluster in telling people information about that in here. I want to really honor those people that actually supported me in the Patreon land. So I'm actually going to be every stream now. From this point on, I'm going to be sharing the information of these people and saying who they are and appreciating them. Because the thing is, I have to admit, one time I had these Patreons. I mismanaged it. It's kind of my fault in that, and I'm proud to, and I'm not proud, but I can openly admit and say that. But now I'm trying to change that. Do a little bit differently because I've now been up to schedule. I've been now working every stream and doing this stuff. So yeah, I'm going to be starting doing that. So I have to thank you, Ben Rittman, Michael Nisler, and Petteri Rantsala for supporting me for quite a lot of time, and with a Patreon over there. So I have to thank you, those people. I know I had people, more people earlier that supported me on Patreon. I mismanaged it. People left it, and that's why I kind of deserve it. I did not take care of it too much. But now I'm trying to fix that, make that error away, and go forward. Let's see how it goes. We have background over here, some Eluukkanen music we're going to be listening at here. And at the same time, we are going to be drawing some animal portraits. Let me open this pencil over here and show you how this is done. So this is like this sort of pencil thingy. And everybody knows who's been using this sort of tools that, you know, you just have a tablet and it does what mouse does there. Of course, if I want to really draw, I need to open the program I got, and today I'm going to be having a program called Medibang Pro, which is a free program, somewhat alright, we did use, I tell you, somewhat alright. So we're going to be using that, making art with that program. Let us see how it goes. So I have a pencil over here, and voila, I have eyes and the mouth, and whoa, that is beautiful. That's like a modern art piece. I would be able to sell that for $20,000 if I would be putting that to a Kiasma or any other that sort of place. Very, very beautiful indeed. So before we start, however, I'm going to be telling you, we are going to be trying to draw a wolf. And it might succeed, it might not, we shall see. But what I'm going to be doing now is putting some information out there, because of course when you stream you have to do that, you have to share about yourself. So I'm going to be doing that very much on here. Feel free to say hello.
Aiko C.
Hey, Aiko!
Oh, a werewolf of Miller Hollow's smiling face with open mouth. Hi, Elias XX.
Perhaps not that immediately, but yes, what are you doing, Aiko? We're going to be doing some wolf thingies, and I tell you, I'm kind of putting myself to shame just looking. We have a real artist painter over here, Ico C. And I'm just like a goddamn simpleton over here. But we're going to be still working on stuff and seeing how it goes, you know, nonetheless. So let us do that. Of course, how are you doing, Ico? It is Tuesday. Are you planning on doing your art yourself on this very day? Who knows? Who knows? So now we're going to be putting information out, of course, a lovely little thingy and such. But the thing is, as you look, we haven't still started. It's kind of the scribble which I just tested out. But hopefully we're going to be doing some cool looking things. We are even going to color it. Yes, even coloring. That's the thing. I have to thank you, Ico, and probably others who are watching this afterwards on this point. But I tell you, I'm being very happy about this streaming thing. I do think that I had this sort of creative lock on it. I wanted to do streams, but then I thought it was too much of a hassle, and it's still of course a work, but I do enjoy this a lot. I do enjoy quite a lot actually, because the thing is,
Paul
I need to work
2004.
hard. And
Do you play Dark Souls 3 at 16 o'clock?
Dark Souls, not unfortunately, not today. Thing is, I use the weekends for playing games, and weekend is around
Eco C.
5 days.
No, please don't feel ashamed or I will be embarrassed and leave smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat.
Okay, I got it. No worries, no worries. But no Dark Souls, unfortunately, today. Are you planning yourself play that at that time? But yeah, we're gonna be doing some drawing. That's the thing. I personally have only weekends when it comes to playing games. All other times I do work all the time. It's nasty, but that you have to do it. You know, I live in farm, and you know I have to do farm things and.
Paul 2004.
No, that's the thing. Unfortunate, but I wish you a good time when it comes to probably for you when you're going to be playing. Are you planning to play that time? That's the thing. That's the thing. It's I have to keep it like that, otherwise all of my schedule is going like from just down the drain, and that's not good at all. So let's see, I'm going to draw in some animals, and still let's put eluukkanen there. But yeah, today is going to be that. Drawing animals, let me put still some information up there. Thing is, I do like some gameplay, of course, Ico was there, we played and such. The problem for this whole thing is that if I just I cannot fully focus on it. That's the thing, and I don't mind that, because the thing is, I'm a composer, have to focus on the music side. That's where the money comes from, so that's how I need to do it. Now we have this modern art piece over here, which is not a wolf, I tell you, not even close. I'm still going to be doing a little bit of sharing around, but once that is ready, we're going to start drawing. Yeah, start drawing very hard. That's the plan. Let's open the stream and see how is the quality right now going. Because I did, of course, check before. Do you have any plans for doing drawing today, Ico, yourself? Have you drawn many animals? I saw your Moomin drawings recently. And someone's calling me. Did I just lose my stream? Did I just lose my stream? I think I did. I think I did. Am I still back? Am I still going? I think I lost my stream right there. Who knows? Because someone goddamn called me at the same time as I'm doing this. That's the thing. That shouldn't really happen over there. But that happened. Yep, streaming live. Are we still live? Are we still going? I'm going to be checking. Just a moment. Just a moment. So, let me go to... Yeah, we are still online. Oh, very good, very good. That's what we need. And the next thing, let me check that place. I've been recently actually, you know, re-listening some of my old piano music in the background, because I just shuffled my playlist and playing it in the background. I want to get back to some piano playing videos very soon.
To be honest, I have never really drawn a wolf. Too much feeling in a wolf face and behavior.
Yeah, very true. It's a kind of hard
If you
one.
feel ashamed, think about my ugly deer and you'll
Cats,
feel better.
crocodiles, deers, those kind of have
I
some
have drawn
interesting
quite a
ones,
lot
yeah.
of cats.
Those can be
ACOC.
interesting.
Dogs, crocodiles, deers.
All those little creatures, crickets. And I've actually drawn wolf myself before, so this is going to be a hard one. But just look at that face, it has some emotion over there. I kind of like that. That wolf face we have over here. Yeah, here we go, that's what we have. It's kind of a lovely emotion. I don't know, am I able to actually capture that, because that's going to be our job to do, but we shall see. Still going to be sharing in a few plays, and then we are beginning. Someone started to call me just a moment ago, and that kind of interferes with my connection. However, hopefully that was nothing too important. You know, like, hey Elias, you won a lottery or something. No, hopefully not like that. Of course, I do not really play lottery, so that's a good thing. It's kind of a waste of money. Someone, my friend said, like, that was like a willing tax. You know, you have to just like give tax money. But instead of it being obligatory, it is forced. No, I mean, it's obligatory. That's the whole thing, yeah. I can't even speak now. Crocodiles, have you put those? Nice. Cat is also, I think, bit lovely one as well. But I have to really start, like, really drawing to really get the shapes and such. Because I know many people that actually draw a lot, and I personally I need a picture. A reference. I know some people that actually do not need that. They can just draw and stuff happens. That's the thing. Still beginning? Well, no worries. In a moment we will start. That's just the thing. We need to work on this stuff. Like this. If you have any ideas, any suggestions I should need, Aiko, let me know when it comes to drawing. That would, of course, certainly help me quite a lot, because I'm still very limited when it comes to artworks and such. Very limited. Drawing is not my cup of tea. And it might be a wrong idea to actually start with the wolf. That I'm certain about. Wolf art live stream. Here we go. Let us see how it goes. Still, let me share in a place called Book Facebook. Actually, I have a good growth in Facebook because I've been posting memes there. For some reason, people eat the memes up, and I personally do not really enjoy memes quite a lot. But you know, just sharing some music theory memes, your page is now like almost 1,000 likes or something like that. That's the thing. I'm going to be actually doing a lot more on that because that's actually successful. That's the thing. Doing more memes. I should actually implement those memes to the channel as well. Yeah. Now let me share some stuff over there. And I think I'm ready to begin the work. Let us do it. Thing is, always need this sharing period before. But I think now it's time to really start the thing. So I'm going to be putting this one in here. I'm going to be putting this wolf image. I'm going to be resizing it. It's kind of like
cats are quite simple to draw.
Are they?
You can play with their different behaviors: cute, aggressive, indifferent, demanding. Everything is in their eyes, hairs and tails.
Yeah, like they don't have, like it's interesting. Like we humans have been built that we have the muscle emotion thingies, but many of the species don't have that. Especially like when dogs are happy, they're just like that sort of fashion. They don't actually have, like, they can smile a little bit, but they have that. It's very limited. It's very limited on how they do it. Now, let us start the work. Let me put the screen up where there's the wolf head, so I can see it. Like up here. I don't know, can you see it any longer, so I need to fix that. Right, it's kind of this other side of there. Let me have it as a paint picture. Just a moment. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really know how to really start this, but we shall see where we go and how we do it. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Thing is, I know from the wolf that the facial emotion is quite an important one, but that's the one we're going to be using as a reference over here. Let's see how I'm able to do it. Wish me luck. So we have a wolf over here. We have the picture over here. We still have them. I need to resize this thing because otherwise I cannot see the picture at the same time. Yeah, I didn't think this through. Here we go. Here we go. And can you see it in the stream yet? Let's go to the window of the painting itself, and here we go. It's somewhat over in the middle. I'm going to be checking and resizing it a little bit on the way. But now I got window for the animal. I can see the animal over there. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Here we go, and let us begin. All right, it might be a terrible effort, but who knows? We just like. So outlines, of course, are important. Let me know, can you see it? Actually, I'm going to be checking this afterwards. But, so I'm going to be starting with the. Okay, that was wrong. That's a little bit wrong. So I have to be very careful. I'm going to be doing outlines. This might actually be wrong, especially like that. I cannot do that. Make a mistake. This might be wrong in the beginning. These are just outlines. I need to get how the face works. Some outlines. I'm going to be making this much more better. But I need to like the proportions. And that's not how you're drawn it. That's not how you're drawn it. Here we go. We got ourselves a wolf here. But it's interesting how the emotions work with animals. They are like that's an evolutionary thing. Can you show your thing, like information to others? And we humans are highly developed with that. That's the interesting thing. Some animals, they have very limited social skills, and we have even like the talking sort of feature. As an animal, even to socialize. But in return, we lost the sense of smell with its delicacies, which is, I suppose, good. But I suppose bad as well. Of course, we are more defined. Evolution is very interesting. We don't yet know all the secrets on what are the triggers, essentially, like. Of course, the environment, but I mean, like, how does this choosing? Is it like a random mutation? Is it like it's quite fascinating. Of course, someone who would. Oh, let me actually check out how we have it over. Yeah, you can see. Yay! Oh, of course, it's still a beginning. It's quite deadly. That's what we have over here. Just yesterday I was in this Daggerfall server. That was I make these remasters for Daggerfall right now, and this Daggerfall server was quite something because they actually just made me do this sort of like a. It's kind of interesting for the Discord. It's ruled by people, so you know sometimes they make some nasty rules. What do you say? You're beginning very well. Well, thank you. It's still a kind of limited though, I tell you. Don't say I'm too good yet.
Hi.
Hey, Zabek, welcome. We are doing our daily streams, and good to see you today as well. I just noticed that the other ear is actually much larger. It's like, oh yeah.
Aiko.
Looks like a sheep.
Zabek hi XX.
Zabek, says Aiko. Oh yeah, good to see you, fellas. How's your day, Zabek, today? How are you drawing yourself? Someone already came and asked, do I do some Dark Souls? But not today, unfortunately. Weekend is the day I do that, but today is time for the streams themselves. But yeah, I've been part of this server, and goddamn, this server was like it's like sometimes some servers in Discord are like Soviet Union. That's because the thing is, it's ruled by people, and sometimes people don't have the best rules in mind when it comes to. No, something happened. There's a problem in. Okay, I'm trying to. That's the good thing about the digital arting. You can actually just like erase things that actually you thought that were mistakes. Quite easily, actually. Yeah. still a beginning thing, but still. And of course, thing goes like this. Yeah, here we go. Are you yourself a drawing person, Zabek? Have you been doing drawing yourself? Do you enjoy it? If you do, let me know. Yeah, I'm very much a novice, I tell you. There are some very great artists out there, I tell you, very great ones. We even have a very lovely artist here as well today, being here with us. That's the thing. It's there are some great talent. Gladly, like human race is a kind of a race that we can actually just somebody can be good at something and someone can be bad at something. We can work together. That's the greatest thing. I'm going to be doing the mouth later on better, but I suppose that's a little bit like a nasty feel on it. Let me actually try to be much more smoother. So I think it starts with
Zabek.
like
You drawing on tablet or mouse?
tablet this time. We have even pencil and such. Yay! So yeah, I wouldn't even try it with mouse. That would be terrifying, I tell you.
Michaelia Starchzik. Hi.
Hey, Michaelia! We're doing some wolves over here. How are you doing? Wolf and the design is quite lovely, I tell you. How are you doing this day? We're doing some drawing. Actually, I need to do my brush.
Aiko C.
Smaller.
Hi new people Black Heart X.
Hey, new people. Michael, I think, is an old one over here. But of course, great to see old ones as well. That's the thing. Always pleasure to us new ones as well.
Zabek.
That's the thing. Everyone's welcome.
Is that XP pen?
XP pen. No, we have a Wacom. That's what I took some while ago. Wacom. It's a decent price and it actually works pretty well. There are some drawing tablets, however, that are like connected to screen, so you can actually see what you draw. So I basically draw. I look forward and I see what I'm doing. Like, it's not natural in a sense. Like, if you do painting, you of course paint on something. But this is like I paint on things I don't see. So it's a little bit different. That's the thing. I've always wanted to have a drawing tablet, so this year I did purchase it.
Zabek.
Well,
I got
Zabek.
XP pen but I play Osu on it only.
Oh, what did you say? You play. Well, let me see. You run XP pen, play Ozu on it only. Oh, I see. Can you? I don't know what is XP pen. Is it some kind of like a pen you can use for that sort of similar thing? Let me know. Like this sort of painting work. I noticed that we are doing all right over here, but of course we need still a lot to work in order to get the shapes right. That's the thing. That's the thing. There are many different pen types. I personally like this vacuum. This works.
Musical game about clicking G circle and sliders.
Is it like this sort of this sort of rhythm game? You have to like do this sort of like rhythms with the pen and such. Yeah, that sounds nice. If that's the one. So we have a wolf here. She has. Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. But I do like now how it's turning up. Of course, we got to be refining it quite a lot.
Yay.
Yay! So it is, I see. I haven't really played rhythm games myself, to be honest. In future, if my channel grows, I might be giving myself to that self-torture for myself for just for the content. But perhaps not yet, though. Perhaps not yet. Let's see. So we have a snout. Looks like this. It has to be very open, like the wolf itself. As you can see, it's still quite limited. We are beginning. It looks like a sheep, but it's in the beginning and in a good way, because the thing is, once we have outlines, we can actually do refining. That's what I've learned in drawing. I don't know about all the things, but I know one thing, that the beginning, how it looks, it is going to be very different when you do it differently. give ourselves an eye. We can start with, like, the thing is, as I look at his eyes, it's like, how do you do it? It's orange, but then there's black inside there. You do like,
Surd 3. Hello, I came to say hi. My friend got severe ill this week and it was actually the girl I was going to bring here. She has stage 2 cancer. Disappointed
oh
face.
no!
Sorry I haven't been around.
No, that's very
Just
rough.
letting you know.
Man, that's nasty, Serge. It's cancer. How old is she?
Michaelia starts
That's nasty.
Aco C.
I'm sorry, man.
We can
Everybody
easily
says sorry because
recognize
that's
the
very
wolf
nasty if
face.
someone has
I
cancer.
mean it.
I tell you.
If you can draw in a computer, you can draw on a real paper.
That's the thing, but I do like the computer side of things because I can like edit and stuff. Man, Serge, that is terrible. I'm sorry, man. Like, in a young age, cancer is not good. And it's because of the technology
Damn,
we
that was
currently
super
have.
sick.
It's very nasty we have to have
Michaelia Starchzik.
that. I'm sorry to hear, Serge. And all the best for that treatment, but be careful, man, because thing is, we live in, like, I've personally looked at even like 10 years ago, there was this studies on how mobile phones and the things on that, like, give you like mobile radiation, in a sense, like cancer. Like, we have a lot of these equipments around us that actually are very cancer giving. That's the sad thing about it. Of course, it might not be from that, but still, I tell you, like, be careful, man. And I wish all the best for your...
Surd 3. She is 18, very young. I told her I was there for her.
Man, that's rough. That's very rough from the early age. Man, that is rough. I very much wish all the best.
Turn down the music a little because it drowns you out.
Okay, let's do that. That's very true. Here we go. Is it now better? Let me know. It should be now a little bit better.
Michaelia Starchzik.
Here we go. Sorry for that. That's terrible because no one should like cancer is something that you should be dealing with when you like 70 years old, not when you are that young.
Yay, it's good now.
Yeah, now it's better. But of course, we need to have background music as it's made by eluukkanen, of course. Very, very new. The thing is, let me focus on the eyes. I like to focus on the eyes. I know that's kind of a mistake you do. I do like to focus on eyes.
Michaelia Starchzik. Smiling face with open mouth and tightly closed eyes.
Ultra weeb. What was that katakana
Michaelia
thing?
Starchzik. XD.
What was that? Was that something of a weeb nature? Oh no. You committed the severest crime above all, I tell you. Oh man. How are you doing, Michaelina? I personally do like some anime, but it depends on very much what anime is. What's your plan, Serge, today to do? Are you going to be with her? Hopefully all goes good for her.
Jellyduck 100.
Jellyduck!
Hey there, Elias.
How are you doing? Nice to see you from the last night even, you know, from Jacket Village stream. Indeed, we are doing some Wolfstein. No, Wolf action.
Zebek.
Yes. Yeah, we are doing.
At Jellyduck 100 hi.
Hi, Jellyduck. How are you doing? Let me see how the eyes kind of look. I think that, you know, there's always this sort of twinkle in like, I personally like doing these anime eyes. So I'm going to be doing anime eyes today. Yes. Here we go. I'm going to be keeping that. Of course, I'm going to be editing it much more, but that's the first eye we have over here. Helps us to do the job. We are drawing wolf today. Hopefully other animals as well.
Jellyduck
we get
100.
some success.
Hello there at Zebek.
Hey, Jellyduck, how are you doing? I listened to your piece. Was it made like... it kind of looked like a courage band, but I might be wrong. Because, you know, they look sort of like how they
I hope you are well, stream. I got to get some sleep, thanks, buddy.
Who said
you
that?
are doing very well, but anyways, thanks for the prayers and
Hey,
support.
man.
It means a lot. I've known her since kindergarten.
I do pray for that, because that shouldn't be happening for 18 years old, man. That's I can say only that all the best. My praise are on for you, I tell you, and for her, of course. Get some sleep. See you next time.
Take care of her
and
ex.
Take care.
Zebek.
Because thing is,
Person
if
with
you
praying
lost,
hands.
if you have that sort of loss, if you have that sort of thing, that is more important than anything. Like, money isn't really, like, if I would lose a family member, I would really throw money away. That's the thing. That's the thing. Even a pet is important like that. Like of course, the human being is super important like that. Especially if you have known that for that long. I'm gonna be using this for just to see how the sort of proportions go. Sort of that way. Here we go. And then I'm not going to be having these, but I'm just going to see where the eye is because I don't want to ruin the whole thing. So we have the next eye is like in here. So good. Let's take that layer off once we have the eye done. But I'm going to be keeping that right now at least. Let's go back. But I do. Thing is, it's. I personally believe that about God and Christianity and such, which is like it's very terrible to have that sort of like. Very dark beginnings, like 18 years is not that long, but for some that's even a lifetime. But still, that is, for, in my opinion, so small age. I might be wrong, of course. I might be wrong, but I personally that is very short age, and that shouldn't be how people have their lives started. Of course, this needs to be much larger. Much larger. Man, the playlist is just playing my older music quite a lot. How are you doing today? Are you enjoying the wolf drawing stream? My artistry skills are quite limited when it comes to animals. Because I've not drawn actually wolves at all, I have to tell you. Wolf is something that is actually a very difficult, I heard, because of course the facial reactions. It's very it's kind of interesting. It's very humane looking. Look at the wolf, like yay. Of course, dogs that kind of same kind of feeling in a sense, but
Zebek.
But of course, wolf have this.
I have lesson now, LMAO.
Lesson. Well, who needs a lesson when there's a eluukkanen stream? Oh man, you have to go to a lesson, of course. My brother actually missed his air lesson. Can you believe that? How could he do that? But he basically oh man, I'm just going to listen some music, and the teacher just talked on the other screen. I just listened some music and did some writing. And I'm not really judging because man, it's not that interesting to look at some teachers like that. +1 indeed. That's a Chad thing. That's a Chad action. I think it's I cannot blame it at all. It's like that's just those teachings are not that interesting, to be honest. Have to be much more round because it's an eye. You can actually see the
Zebek. Me and at Michaelia Starchzik have a music lesson now.
Music lesson? Oh. Is it an e-lesson of music? How do you do e-lessons of music? Is it like you learn the theory of something? Well. This isn't a music lesson we are having here. We are having an art lesson. Possibly a kind of art lesson for myself. But still an art lesson nonetheless. Hopefully something that gets you excited on the drawing side of things. And as you can see, I did that eye quite wrong actually. Because I actually need to be away from the screen in order to do that right. So okay. We have here this side of things. Here we go. It's like
Zebek. Learning about jazz.
Jazz. I remember when I had jazz lessons, like there's so many different jazz types. Do you listen yourself jazz or what?
Aiko C. Dogs and wolves are both canine animals. Dogs have that happy and cheerful look, whereas wolves have that melancholic and obscure look.
Indeed, they have that like. Yeah, actually very nicely described, man. What sort of jazz is that? But I tell you, that is a very true thing. It's because, of course, they are in the nature side of things. They have much more rough life. I think I looked at some of the documentaries of dogs, and dogs are like
we were
they
listening
stay
to
in the
Oda
puppy
full
state
day
all the
10
time.
minimum ago.
What is that? I didn't hear what that was. We're listening to Wonderful Day 20 minutes ago. Oh. Is that a song? Wonderful Day? But yeah, like I read this documentary, actually watched this documentary where like the dog state of mind, it stays a puppy like all the time. That's just how the evolution has gone, and they do not evolve into full wolf at all. This is actually very pleasant, like wolf look. I tell you, like usually wolves are quite a terrifying creature.
Akosi. That makes sense.
It does make sense, because the thing is, those doggies, they are evolved to live with humans for quite a long time. Actually, that's the thing. How to do this sort of? I need to do this right. The angle is like. Here we go. Of course, focusing fully on this, I'm going to do. I tell you that much. The thing is, dogs have been very much long time part of human lives, part of humans sort of dog relationships. Of course, they have evolved to be like that. Very useful indeed for humans. Of course, very lovely companions as well. Very lovely indeed. Dogs have been very much long time part of human lives, part of humans. It's sad that they live so short lives. Let's go a little bit forward. That's just sort of the eye, sort of brow thingy we have over here. And now we need to do the eyeball thingy. Here we go. Wow. I tell you, I'm not very good at it, but I'm still going to be trying. The thing is, if you're not good at something,
Zebek.
don't let your
I have 3
thing
puppies
stop you.
and 2 dogs.
Oh man, that's good. Because I have the one dog. We used to have 2, but the one died unfortunately. Thing is, 2 dogs is pretty lovely.
16.
And 2 puppies.
Woof.
Woof! Woo! I don't know how the wolves really sound like. Woo! I cannot really imitate that too much. But the thing is, oh yeah, woof, woof, woof. How are you doing 16 on this day? 16! Is that a reference to something, I tell you? Is that the 16, the Roman numerals? I like the Roman numeral system. They actually look pretty nice. Like I've gotten used to the Arabic numbers. Of course, they're much more. They are very useful in a sense. Like if you got used to them, they're easy to understand. But no, I lose the picture of the. Whoa, here we go. Yeah, that's the wolf doing the woo thingy. Like these are actually very dangerous animals. Always remember that dangerous animals they are. Thing is, they look cute, but in these pictures, but I tell you, they are brutal, and beasts.
16.
That's what they are, I tell you.
Great.
16. Go to here. They are brutal creatures. I don't really like the fact that, like in old times stories, they really like they told about
my
the wolves,
lucky
how they
number.
were. Oh, it is. I see. 16. I don't know. Is there a reference to 16 in all the things on that? But
Akosi.
let me see. Is that one?
Dogs in some cultures are considered as fantastic and wild animals, Cerberus dogs. But I think in Iran, the dog is considered as dirty, if I'm right. Zebek. Mine 2137.
21. Oh, that's your lucky number. Well, that's quite a something. I don't know, is that a lottery number or something? But I like number. Number 9 is quite a lovely, actually. I do like that if I have to talk about numbers. But the thing is, it's interesting. Usually humans admire animals that are very untamed, and at the same time they don't like animals, and they like pity animals, like generally, that are very easy to tame. It's kind of this sort of interesting biological standpoint in it. Like weaker animals are like the pigs and those sort of like goats and like bleh, those are the stupid animals. But then there's like a hawk, and they sort of like ooh, oh man, hawks, they are interesting because of course they are untamed. Of course they can be trained, but still
Multi-hawk.
they are untamed.
You mean domesticate?
Yeah, domesticated. Humans usually like look down upon domesticated animals. And dogs are seen as dirt. If you actually call a dog, or in any culture even, it's kind of a nuisance. So don't do that. At least in those cultures.
My fave higher number in 7. 7 musical notes. 7 colors in the rainbow. 7 wonders of the ancient world at sea.
7 is a lucky number in many cultures. But only not culture I know that the 9 is a lucky number is China. That's
Lord
the
Zembu.
number of the dragons.
Yo.
Hey, there's a name I didn't recognize. Lord Zebu, how are you doing? And Multihawk also, hello there, how are you doing? I didn't say hello before. But the thing is, 7 is also, it has a nice tone to it. Zebu, how are you doing? Welcome, we are doing some wolves here. Yeah, wolves. And I have to tell you, I'm not an artist.
Multihawk.
So we have a kind of a...
Dogs are widely appreciated. Sure, calling someone a dog is insulting, but dogs are pretty universally loved animals.
My stream
Lord
almost,
Zembu.
like somebody calls me all the
It's
time,
me, Zabek
and my stream
LUL.
almost always goes away. It's me, Zabek, but in Twitchland. Oh yeah, so good. That's a different name, I tell you. Dogs, I will be coming back. I just need to take care of that calling thing over there, because the thing is, if I get called, like my whole stream is going to go down. So, let you look at the wolf picture a moment of time. I will be like in just a minute away. But now, hey, here we go. A wolf. Just look at that. Now, I will be going to and selling few things. I will be just down here in any second. Ooh, ooh. Oh. Coming back. Very soon. I will be coming back. I just need to take care of that calling thing over there. The thing is, if I get called, like my whole stream is going to go down. So, let you look at the wolf picture a moment of time. I will be like in just a minute. It's me, Zabek. No, I will be going to and selling few things. I will be just down. I will be any back. I just need to... Back in action! That's the stream live. Have to go back, come back, that sort of fashion. It kind of ruins the flow when you have that, but that's the thing.
Zabek. I doubt he got swatted LMAO.
I doubt can they actually be swatting in Finland, I suppose? It's not that common though, and of course, not gonna happen to me. I have my own gun prepared. Just joking, but still, how are you doing? Didn't get swatted, perhaps not today, perhaps other time. But now, we're gonna be continuing our wolf here. And it's interesting, people admire wolf because it's untamed, it's not domesticated. That's the thing. People, like, that's how, that's interesting, like how humans think, you know, in a sense, like, you know, it's like in the same, like if you have like a nice friend, usually they are looked down upon because, you know, they're like a, it's sort of like this sort of thing that, you know, when they don't challenge you at all, they are like seen as weak. I have this friend that is very, very very, very cautious and in a sense that, you know, he always is nice to people that is around him, but sometimes, you know, people see him as like a weak person. And I don't like that, but that's just how humans operate. I had that sort of stigma in the past as well, but of course, then someone tried to do something to me, and then I put him against the wall and such. Like, that's just how it goes. That's just what they have to do in order to show these people that you are not to be rifled with. Here we go. We got this now. So now let's, there's this one thing I don't like about this eye. It should be like Wow. Here we go, much better. Much better. Here we go, we are listening some Age of Empires in the background. But how are you doing, Multihog? You said something in here. Dogs are widely appreciated for sure. Calling someone dog is insulting, but dogs are pretty universally loved. That's true as well. But I've noticed this sort of idea that when you have that
nice and gentle don't mean weak. I hate that when people think that.
But that's just what I've noticed. I might be wrong on this, of course. Please tell me if I do. But I've noticed this sort of trend. And it does make sense in a place like humans have been in this sort of culture that like the weak. How do you perceive weakness and such? But that's kind of so short-sighted sometimes not. I've seen like these people that do not defend themselves at all, and it's kind of like people should defend themselves if they have something to defend for. But at the same time, weakness is not if you do not hit everybody with the face all the time. I personally do think that. But people should be, of course, defending themselves. That's the thing. It's a difficult thing, but it is a powerful thing if you defend yourself and make sure people do not trifle with you. That's the thing. And that is what had to be. I cannot, of course, say I'm the best in that. I know some much buffer people that can actually defend themselves easily. But of course, that's what you have to do in order to. It's kind of the same for Finland. They have to defend
Not being provoked by others is mental strength.
Very true, very true. Provoking is also that is true. Sometimes I have these cases. I don't know about you, but I have the two cases in my life. I have this very I have to just say kind of unstable person picking on me in a sense. And only thing I've noticed the best way out is from that is to really go against that, because if you are trying to just not get intimidated and he continues to hit you in the face, that sort of fashion, you have to really do something for it, that sort of fashion. And even if that is not the best optimal position, of course. But of course, talking is the way to get out of things. That's the thing. Talking is the way.
Especially when you live in a place where people are generally hot-blooded, my Mediterranean territory, you can perceive that kind of mentality, and I don't like that.
That is actually very true as well. In here north, we have more cold-blooded. We never do riots and this sort of fashion, naturally in here. Yeah, that's the thing. That's it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
You need to be a determinant that discourages that action. Sometimes you need violence to be that.
Unfortunately. But of course, violence is not optimal. Avoid that as much as you can. But if you have to defend yourself, that's what you have to do. And I mean by really defending. If he starts hitting you, of course, you hit back. But at the same time, there's this lovely thing what Jesus said about if you carry a sword, then be ready to die by the sword. That's the interesting thing. If you
I know
take
what
violence,
I'm
ready to
talking
be
about. I live in South France.
South France, yeah, that's kind of a Mediterranean, close to that. There's beaches and such, and very lovely, but at the same time, the blood is boiling. Blood is boiling, that's the thing. Here we go. Here we go. We got a mental wolf over here. I don't know. It looks like just I don't know. I think I could actually fix it by putting here something.
Running is the best thing to do usually.
Running is usually the best, especially if there's more people. If there's 2 by 2, then fighting is good. But sometimes you cannot run forever. That's the thing. Usually, it depends on the situation, of course. All times it depends on the situation. Running is, of course, good. But when I look at, let's say, savannah life, running is not very much optimally when it comes to there. Usually the animals just run from the these multiple these. Oh, is it not working anymore? Not working. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's pick the pen. wait until the whole thing goes back. Let's do a thing. Yeah, usually the animals in savannah, they just run away.
In a fight,
That's not the option.
both potentially get injured. There is rarely a clean fight, especially when weapons are involved.
Very true. Multihawk is speaking truth. So very much be careful of that. But of course, that's sometimes like sometimes it's needed, but it's preferably not. Of course, be careful when you are deciding to do something like that. Here we go. This is the black part of the eye as well. We're going to be using that. Here we go. Like, it's interesting how the white part is like, yeah, we have some black part in here as well. But it's a two-sided thing. Sometimes if we really needed to actually be aggressive in Finland, of course in wars we are, but like normally, like we don't get activated that quickly. That's a Finland's problem, I think. But in sometimes in European countries they get boiled too much. That's the thing. But of course, keep calm and such. It's very good to also have, so you don't overreact to things. That's the thing. I don't know about like if there's like a British sort of like what sort of other countries have this aspect to it. I don't know about Polish sort of how they react to sort of these sort of things, but it of course depends on stuff. Let's see. Here we go. I do like the eyes. They give this sort of well, it looks mental, to be honest. Mental wolf. That's good. Mental hospital was nearby and he just fled from it. That's excellent. Here we go. I think I need an eyebrow thingy to like. It's interesting how you can actually notice things like from eyes, from human eyes, you can notice how people think. Like it is true that the eye is the mirror of the soul in many ways. Like I just studied recently on the like what different type of eyes people have when they have different sort of emotions with them. What do you say? What do you say? Give it glasses! Of course, of course. If we do a comic anime wolf, of course we're going to add the glasses for it. I don't know. It sort of looks like it has problems. Let's just say that. Let's try to do the eyes a bit rounder. Perhaps it helps. So it bit helps. I don't know how to do this thing, I tell you. But glasses might be a solution, of course. Then it doesn't look as mental as it does. Like it looks still mental. I don't know what it is. Is it that I don't know. There's something in there. Something I should be fixing. I think it's the pupil area.
Multihawk.
Is too small.
When is Dance of Ducklings Remaster coming out?
What is Dance of Ducklings Remaster? Let me actually check out what is that. Just googling that. I might be just mixing it with something else. Let me just see. Dancing with Ducklings. We have 5 people watching our wolf thing. I don't really know how we have that. Like we are still in the beginning sort of fashion of it.
It's your
5
song.
People. Ah, my song, Dance of Ducklings. Well, that was I'm not sure I'm going to do a remaster of it, but still, do you like it? I haven't actually got I don't. The thing is, usually that's the kind of thing I don't know how people do listen.
Your
to
wolf
songs
has that piercing look, as it tried to hypnotize you.
Yeah, like, it kind of has that. The feel is there.
Multihawk.
The wolf is going to eat you soon.
Yeah, that piece is my favorite.
Oh, really? Dancing Ducklings. I do might have the score creation file still somewhere. Perhaps there could be a remaster of it. Who knows? But I haven't really thought about that, to be honest. But possibly. Dance of Ducklings. Actually, just put it on a memory file. I actually liked making that piece long ago, but sometimes I don't know. Are people actually? Let's see. Dance of Ducklings. I still need to focus on some of the own work at some point, but at this moment I'm just focusing on remakes. And that's the thing, I do need to focus on own work, especially on getting it out there much more. And I'm happy that people say, hey, I like some of your work, so I'm very happy on that. Happy. Happiness is the truth. Now, let me see. There's something wrong with the wolf's eyes, which I cannot comprehend. Is it like it looks like an egg shape when I look at the picture? This sort of like a. Okay, now it looks a bit better, but it's still mental. Okay, let's keep it mental right now at least. That's good. Well, to put too much information already.
Damn, that's a good looking eye.
Man, it looks terrible, I tell you. I personally need to really get this better. I tell you, this is not good at all. Here we go. Now let's try to put some information.
Wolf, hello Huma. I'm regular wolf. Tease my territory.
This is my territory.
Yeah, that wolf looks insane.
That's what it does. They're an insane wolf. That's great.
But when you zoom out XDDDDDDDD.
Oh man. Well, it's in the beginning, of course. Everything looks mad in its creation. That's what they say.
Maybe could you choose a lighter grey color to soften the eyes?
I will do the eyes later.
Multi-hog.
It's just confused.
It looks
It's
confused.
like me doing this piece. That's excellent. We have something in common. That's what we got. Here we go. I'm doing some shade things. Just to see like... bless me. The thing is, I'm doing some of the shadings on here to see like how does some of the fur thing goes, and especially the shapes. Let's just do that at least right first, and of course then I'm going to be doing more of the eyes. I just need to have some kind of focus and some kind of idea how this whole piece is going to go, and then eyes I usually start from, and then I move to the fur and such. That's the plan. But the plan is just a plan.
Honestly, it looks like it's trying to do a smile forcibly.
It's like, I'm a good guy now. Yeah, right. That's what it tries to do, but it doesn't fool us.
Elbow cough. 16.
There's nobody really to
has ever
quarantine here, so
existed without
I'm
a
not
touch
going
of
to do elbow
madness.
cough. I tell you that. Elbow cough is not going to happen. No genius has ever existed without touching the madness. Ah! The wisest thing I've heard today. Yeah, I have a window open the whole night and it's still -Celsius. That must not be very wise. Hopefully I don't get sick. Thing is, though, I think we are doing some progress here, but of course we still need to work and stuff, I tell you. Yeah, it tries to show it has some good sides on it, but I believe there's some hidden
Did you
agendas.
enjoy planting potatoes?
Well, I'm going to be actually doing a major planting potatoes today. There's this greenery room we have. I just yesterday worked on that. Hopefully I'm going to be able to get some like camera footage. I'm actually going to show it.
Quote by Lucius Seneca.
I need to have the comments here because I want to see what you say. I sometimes mishear. Did I mishear with this one? Quote by Lucius Annaeus Seneca. Oh, clever. Very clever and very civilized. That's the history for people, yeah. Man, Seneca. Roman times was it? Yeah. Yeah. Times have changed, but of course, some of the things still stay the same. Here we go, let's... yeah, it has some kind of a bad ideas, this sort of wolf. It tries to pretend like in the what's the Red Riding Hood that, yes, I'm a lovely wolf. I'm not going to eat you. No. Or perhaps it has been too much in tumbrel these days, and that doesn't make miracles to people, I tell you.
I like how the eye has a sense of depth.
Well, depth? Well, I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to be doing something over here, but it's still very early, I tell you. Like, usually when I do this sort of drawing side, I do this sort of like, there's these outlines, then I like make them have more depth and such. But I need to know, like, where does the shape go, because the shape is very important, what I've noticed when it comes to the drawing of such stuff. Here we go. This looks awful, but of course it's going to hopefully get better. Like, that's for the remake creation as well. We had yesterday some... and that was a hard remake creation, I tell you. But yesterday we had some remake creation. And the thing is, it always starts from nothingness. And then it sort of develops forward to somethingness. That's something. So usually it does like that. Is there any good technique on drawing the fur? I suppose it starts to look something like this later on.
Multihog. I mean, it looks properly three-dimensional with depth.
Yes, that's what it does. Of course, I'm copying from an image. So it is easy to like get that sort of... I personally, like, my future, like a dream would be that I would be just, hey, I want to draw a wolf, and then I could be like some comic artists. They can just like invent how they do their stuff and such. Like very, very clever on how they do it. Here we go. We got ourselves an ear. And the interesting thing about it's very soft when it comes to the ear tip of it. Here we go. And it also reduces sort of like a roundish. Here we go.
Jellyduck 100.
Jellyduck, how are you doing?
That's amazing drawing.
Well,
Happy smiley.
Don't say yet. I am still in the beginning of this, I tell you. There's going to be a lot of shading and a lot of this sort of stuff. I don't actually know the right terms. I'm just inventing things as I go. Like, just like the remastered treat. Like, that's how we do it. And sometimes that's a good approach. Many people like actually are afraid of like improvisation,
Jellyduck
which
100.
I really much recommend not to be.
Oh, sorry.
Because sometimes there can be mistakes, but of course sometimes very great things. What did he say? Sorry, no, sorry at all. I'm happy that you see something in this, but I just see that mad wolf. This might be
Zebek.
what we call this. Mad
That
wolf.
nose asterisk sif asterisk.
That nose. Oh, yeah.
Multihog.
That is good.
Mistakes are not bad.
Mistakes are part of the thing, and that's the interesting, like chemistry. You have to just like put things there. I knew this pianist person in my when I was in school. Like I was not very good in like playing notations like fully. Like and I know this girl who could like be a mathematician like a calculator machine, like play anything that was given to her. But at the same time, she could not improvise whatsoever.
Hi, this is interesting. What is your accent?
My accent is Finnish accent. Hey! Spergulama! Welcome from the D-Live. Person from the D-Live watching this something. I'm from
Zebek.
Finland, so I guess
We
it's
don't
kind of
make
Finnish.
mistakes,
But I've
just
tried to mix
happy
it with
little
English, and that's
accidents.
why it's kind of this monstrosity it has. Can you sight read nowadays? Sight read. I'm actually good. Google Translate this. I sometimes mix up the words, and I need to be right when I do this sort of word thingies. Sight reads means like do you mean about the notation stuff? We don't make mistakes, just happy little accidents. Well, that's one way to push it, but of course there's some mistakes right there, you know, sometimes. So let's see, sight. Let me just sight reading. Is it like it's reading the music. Do you mean like reading the music from just like looking at it and then do it? Yeah, like that's what she could do, and she was very good at it. Like, man, I'm never going to get on her level.
Multihog.
She had also some problems, unfortunately, mentally, but because she had a very nasty childhood, like her parents were beating her all the time.
Playing while reading.
So very nasty. Playing while reading. Oh, that is that.
Multihog.
Yes. Very talented.
Never
some people
seen before. Multihog.
Oh, you haven't?
Score.
So you haven't seen a score? Like, oh man, there's some very excellent people that can actually do that. Like mathematicians.
You're not too bad if English is your second language.
Very much thank you for that, because then I'm honored. Thank you, Spergulama. Where are you from, may I ask? I'm from Finland, and yes, it's a second language. You might notice I have to just check out the translator sometimes just to see what things mean. And that's the thing, sight reading. Of course, it's reading the notes that are written over there, yes. But the thing is, so we have some sort of feel on this.
No, I mean sight reading is playing directly from sheet music without having seen it before.
Yeah, just like that. just like that. And that's a great thing when it comes to some musicians. I know they can do that. I know some of the musicians that can do it, and it's an excellent skill, man. And it looks impressive. But this girl, that she couldn't actually like improvise at all. I do recommend improvisation because it gives you this sort of like you can have different sort of ideas, different sort of you can do very differently things and change if you force yourself to try out new things. Like I haven't really done much drawing, and I'm very surprised we're doing this good because of course I am not a drawing person.
It's a useful skill for anyone who deals with notation, such as composers.
Do you mean by sight reading? Yes, indeed. It's very useful to do. It's something that I'm very bad at, I tell you. I have to be like, look millions of hours for the sight reading. I've just recently actually started a lot of doing sight reading just to get my skills better in it. But I tell you, I couldn't do it.
I'm from the Midwest in America.
Oh, from America! Good to see you! From America. Oh, yeah, that's a place. I do want to visit America at some point. I want to see the great pine trees and such, and sort of the nature over there. Like in Finland, many Finnish people actually traveled to America back in the day when it, and some of the people are ancestors of Finnish people from there because they wanted to see the nature. Many people went to Canada to Northern Americans because oh man, it's kind of similar to how it looks here as well. But we don't have big mountains. That's what we lack. That's the only thing we do lack is big mountainsides. Here we go. I need to be just clearing that place a little bit. But Midwest, oh well. What kind of environment is that? You know, if you could describe it, because the geography of America is I'm very limited in that. I do know Arizona and do know that sort of
a lot
places.
of American people who like Elias here winking face.
Yay!
A cream.
America.
Found you in D-Live, like your accent haha.
Oh, thank you!
Multihog. Lapland has no mountains.
Oh, a cream! Found you in D-Live. Welcome to the stream. Are you Spegularma or someone else? Hello there, a cream. The thing is, Lapland, it has this sort of tunturi, but they are not like very high. That's the thing. Like there's a lot of these sort of hills, and they are like these very different sort of hills. There, but mountains, like somewhat like that, but somewhat not. It depends on how northern you go. Of course, if you go near Norway, then there's mountains a lot. But Finland is oftentimes quite a plain place, and we have a lot of forests and such. But if you would cut every tree, it would be very much like a very plain place. But the problem is, it would be still very hard to traverse around because there's a lot of swamps.
Smiling face
there's
with
a lot of rocks
eyes.
around because of the ice age, the huge ice pillars and such went through over there. So yeah, that's how it looks. That's how it is. Lakes. Oh man, you need to say Finnish lakes at some point. But I might be asking this. I've asking some people too many times. Can you say where you're from, Hultihog, yourself? Because I might be mixing it. I have to just be certain if I'm able to say this.
But We have a lot of Scandinavian people around the Great Lakes. Where I am is South Dakota. It's pretty close to the Ukrainian in my opinion.
Ukrainian?
Restream.io.
I suppose Ukrainian.
Trophy, congratulations. You've received 100 messages today with Restream chat.
It's a pleasure to have you here on the stream today. I was actually surprised how quickly we reached 100 messages, so thank you very much for that. The thing is, though, Old Dakota? I cannot really map that. Where can it be? Finnish is very much like Hungary. Ukrainian, not so much. Ukrainian has much more with the Slavic place. But of course, I do appreciate Ukraine. I want to visit it.
You're off the mark. I'm not even in Europe.
You're off the mark. I'm not even in Europe. Let me know what that place might be. Thing is, I have to say I'm not very good at American when it comes to geography. I know
Finnish is far from Ukrainian.
Yeah, a lot farther, I tell you. Quite a lot farther, that's the thing. There's the interesting story about Finnish, like usually all the languages are connected to Latin. Of course, Finnish has got some inspiration when the language was put like in a written format, but the thing is, we are a very different language family Finno-Ugri family, which is it called. And only Hungary is close to us. Other countries, those are like their own thingies. That's the thing. Finno-Ugri languages. That's the thing. Of course, I don't mind other languages, but of course the Finnish language is of course the best. And we have even done the Finnish language streaming, of course. So very much something I very much recommend to take a look at it. It's some of the Elvish languages when it came to Lord of the Rings were actually inspired by Finnish. But of course, there are lovely languages as well. I'm trying to currently learn some Chinese. Chongwang. It might be useful if there's like a world empire from Chinese ever comes alive. Who knows? But of course, I'm not going to never leave my Finland behind. Finland is always going to be the big thing.
Multihog. Finnish is a nightmare unless it's your native language.
Very true. You describe it fine, but I still appreciate
Ukrainian by how the land looks very flat, little woods, very cold winters and not many trees.
Ukrainian has kind of like that, man. Do you know this Ukrainian? Have you been in Ukraine yourself? It's kind of like, I tell you, it's just like you described. Cold food trees. We have a lot of trees right there, I tell you. And everybody, like, if someone would like to conquer us, I think the trees would be something they would like to take us. Of course, Russia, they already have trees, so they don't really... But, like, we have, if I look at the percentage of trees and the forest, we have, like, most of the forest in Europe when it comes to that. Many of the countries in other places have already, like, cut down their trees. So, imagine that, we do have quite a lot of trees over here. So, you really understand. It's a beautiful places also. And we have this sort of politics that we are really trying to keep the forest
actually aren't cold anymore. There hasn't been a proper winter in years.
Are you a multi-hog? You were from Finland as well, if I remember right. Now I remember, if I am right. Thing is, that is very true. Finnish winters, very cold times. We do have some wolves here as well. In my close village, there's actually some wolf sightings. So that's the thing. That is the thing. Yes, you are. Yeah, now I remember. Sorry about that. Sometimes I just get these sort of, oh yeah, I need to remember things. But just recently been thinking a lot of on the side of. I had this project yesterday. I'm very lucky actually to say that my client. I made this Chucky's stream a few days ago. You remember the game making stream I make? I make streams every day. So I was actually very happy to say that my client liked that.
Multihog.
My client enjoyed that.
I'm the guy who you knew from SoundCloud. Spurgilema.
Actually, I remember even that one.
I have a friend who moved here from the Ukraine. He said it's a lot like home.
I have a friend who moved from the Ukraine and said it's a lot like home. So it's very similar to where you live, to Ukraine as well. I see. America's an interesting country in a sense. It's so different from so many places. Like, you cannot really say, like, this is America, so certainly and clearly. You cannot. Some places are very different. Big cities compared to the... I would like to see, like, the big pine trees. I would love to see that, man. That would be something. But we have wolves over here. I don't know, do you have wolves in your nearby area? I know that there are some wolves that are in Europe as well, but they've been kind of hunted down for obvious reasons. There were so many in the past that, you know, they actually ate children, like really, like they hunted people, and they still do. There's sightings that in northern Finland, people are not really fond with wolves because they attack their dogs, they attack like livestock, they attack humans. And, you know, compared to bears, like, wolves are very nasty. Like, they are very, very nasty. Let's put some dark feel to that. Here we go. Actually, I made a mistake. Let me just clear that out. But yeah, I do like the designs of wolves, but at the same time, they are not human.
I don't think they attack humans.
Oh, they do attack humans. They have. Depending on, of course, the situation, but they are hunters, they attack humans, and that's the thing. At least, like, that sort of sightings I've seen.
Wolf-human attacks are non-existent as far as I know.
Of course, nowadays, what I mean by the past, that's why they were hunted. And almost went to brink of, like, extinction. Of course. But they do attack livestock.
I don't have wolves where I am. I'm looking at your wolf's eyes and I want to ask you something. What is the color of your eyes, Elias?
My eyes, it's green, I suppose. The wolf eyes is going to be yellow, orangey, like in the picture. But my eyes basically is very much, if you talk about my personal eyes, it's green. But the wolf's eyes, if you ask that, is going to be orange, yellowish sort of fashion. That's the idea. Now let's make these all fuzzy. Fuzzy. How does this, like, it goes like a triangle-ish shape. Here we go. I have triangle over here. Thing is, that's the thing. Of course, you're very right. The human attacks recently are very limited because, of course, but in the past, I read some history books and such. Like they were a really big threat, and it's not a wonder why wolves are like these big enemies in RPGs.
Most live around Yellowstone Park now and are protected and being reintroduced to the wild.
That is the truth. That is the
Multi-hog.
Dogs are best.
Do you like dogs?
I got this dog called Halti, and any Finnish person reminds them like Halti Tuntur.
I think they attack humans because they are afraid. But if the human is not aggressive, the wolves won't do anything. But I may be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I suppose like I tell you, I've seen like I've read about the human and wolf relationship in a very long time, and it does not come from nothing that the wolves are very nasty. Like if they can, they will attack humans, but at the same time they're clever creatures. They have a lot of land, especially now they have very much hunted down in many places, so their numbers are small, so they have a lot of land. They do not come to human territories that much. But if humans and wolves meet each other, it is a very dangerous situation, even more than bears. And even bears are very, very dangerous as well if they are on a certain mood. Especially now at this moment of time, they have just had their cubs, and the female bears are going to protect their cubs like madmen, I tell you. So very much going to be. That's kind of a thing I'm actually worrying when I'm going to forest myself at the moment.
Wolves tend to avoid humans.
That is true, of course, and there's a reason for that. There is a deadly reason for that. Because they know that we are dangerous for them as well. Like, they are clever creatures.
It depends how hungry they are.
That is also true as well. If they're hungry, they don't mind eating man, I tell you. But they have a lot of territory here, so the human attacks are there's non-existent. But we have to remember that they are still dangerous. That's the thing, and I would say that to people. I read this about this human, there was this a review of like someone went to the Helsinki Zoo, and he was like writing that. Oh, he felt connection with the wolves and such by being in the zoo. And I tell you, zoos are not natural habitat. And like, I don't know, are they hungry in there? But I've seen some of the zoos that they have wolves in there, and they are like cycling through and seeing the best moment that could they escape, could they go away? They are very much untamed creatures, wolves. And if they would be getting a chance, they would eat the human people if they are hungry, of course. I don't know, does human taste that good, but of course they're going to eat us if they can.
Multi-hog. Wolves have no chance against my ferocious Labrador Retriever.
Oh, that's
Zebek.
Cool. Of course, different dogs.
Maybe draw outline of left eye a little bigger.
Left eye, so this one might be. I just noticed that in the original picture the eye is much smaller. But we are going to be anime wolf. Yay! Anime wolf. That's what we're going to be doing today. Oh man, anime wolf. What my life has now became. Thing is though, I'm going to be working on eyes a bit late. I need to be working on the fur thing and such on here to make it like a little bit better.
Multi-hog. Need those glasses.
Oh, it does need the classes. We're going to be adding classes to it, I tell you. Anime wolf. If you have any ideas for the anime wolf over here, this psychotic yandere wolf, I don't know what could be the most anime thing ever to put as a wolf. Let me know. Thing is, I've actually looked recently. There's this series called Beastars as an anime, and I do like manga of it very much. I usually do not like very much anga and manga and this sort of anime things, but I actually very much like that. It actually was very funny and this sort of such. Basically, it's utopia, but much more, well, let's say just nasty. I tell you. Like, imagine a real animal society. Not a very pleasant one if you really think about it. All different animals together. It's a chaos, I tell you. It's a chaos even with humans sometimes, with human society, with human culture. So I tell you, like, with animals, it's a... If someone really puts the effort into it... Oh. Let me see, something happened. So the wolf is coming together! But of course, Anime Wolf is still...
Have you watched the Aim Wolf's Reign? It had wolves and was pretty interesting.
What is that? Anime Wolf's Reign. Let me actually put that to things and see how that is. I'm not going to take it out on the screen because of course I'm going to get attacked by the legion of the bots and such and personally not very big fan of that. But a wolf is going to coming together. I don't know, is she a she or he? I don't really know about the genders. Can you see it in a wolf? I suppose you can. Is there a difference in a she or he wolf? Of course, someone they bear children, and of course some of them do not. So that's the thing. But let's see. Anime wolves. Wolf's Reign. I didn't. Let me see what Wolf's Reign is. Is this what series is that? Let me know. My computer is getting a little bit slow.
Sorry
about that.
The first manga I read. Oh my god. It was disgusting, smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat.
I tell you. Some mangas are graphic. Personally, graphic for sake of graphic, not huge fan. But if there's a reason, if there's a style, if there's actually a logic, then I suppose I'm on the side
Multi-Hog.
of it, but it depends.
You should compose a theme song for this deranged wolf.
Oh, of course, this is going to be a cover of the next album, The Deranged Wolf, the tale of two animes. I don't know. What should be the good name for it? If we make an album of this wolf, what is the name of it? Deranged Wolf, and then the subtitle is like time to I don't know, time to eat. I don't know what could be the one. If you have any idea, let me actually know. I'm not really saying like should I do. Perhaps I should. Who knows? Perhaps I should do an anime inspired wolf album. We are getting this stuff done. I'm going to be still editing in the eyes quite a lot, I tell you. How was the first manga you read? And let me know, Speglarma, about Wolf's Reign. Night Stalking. Well, that's edgy. That is edgy, Night Stalking. And then we need to have like this sort of like a wolf cries, of course, in the whole album music. Of course, we need to have that. We could do this Friday, actually. We could do the wolf song this Friday. Hey, let's do wolf song this Friday if people are still, of course, there. Next Friday, we'll do streams every day. But around this time period, we're going to be doing a wolf song from this deranged wolf that we currently made, of course. Why not? Why not? That's not a bad idea at all, actually. I haven't made a wolf song in a while. It doesn't really go back. Oh, here we go. This is very important because these small lines give a lot of the personality for the wolf. I need to do this one line very, very good.
Aiko C. The second one, visually violent. A girl who got decapitated. I was 8, smiling face with open mouth and
like,
cold
how did you
sweat.
get your hands on that sort of nasty thing? Oh man, that's quite
Spurgilema. I would call him furry, but that's not very creative, I guess.
Furry. I think furries are these weird people. I suppose they are like alright furries, but they have this sort of reputation at least of being a little bit weird. I actually saw a furry in real life just last year, man, and gladly that was not a grown-up adult man. It was a girl, but still. It is kind of like a clown costume in a sense. Like it gives me the same kind of creepy feeling as well, because it looks very happy and yeah, but at the same time there can be darkness behind it, full darkness, and it's not natural looking as well. It's kind of like
what does it involve to be a furry?
I mean, like the costumes and such. I don't know. I personally I'm not really into that sort of fandom, so I don't know the definition of it too much, but I tell you, I've seen those people. And that was, I could never forget that sight. This nasty, this large costume, man-sized costume of a doggy.
Akosi. I don't really remember. But I got a little disgusted with manga. I don't read manga and don't watch anime, but that's because I'm simply not interested.
There's some good manga, there's bad manga, like bad literature, good literature. The B-stars, I did like that. The art style is excellent, the story, I do like the characters. There's this sort of wolf character, actually a wolf.
Multihorg. Furry porn is good, of course.
No comment on that one, I tell you. I personally, yeah. Well, I suppose that taste is for people.
Spurgilema. We have furries in the US, very odd people, to be honest.
Yeah, they have their own communities, who knows. I don't know, is that actually got this sort of idea, what if apocalyptic situation happens and if there's like this community of furries, is this like are they going to be tribalistic or something? I don't know. What is going to happen with that? We have this shape of the yeah, like this. Kind of weird. It's kind of this sort of longing they want from the safetyness of their childhood, and it's sort of a creepy at the same time. Kind of that's what I've understood from the furry dom or something. It's pretty interesting, I suppose.
Yes, they'll found a furry kingdom.
Furry kingdom. But who's going to be the one who I don't know. Actually, I want to know. Hopefully, it's not going to be too animalistic right there, but. I suppose we're getting the air, yeah, right, but it needs a lot of this sort of faction. Like, I know this one, there's this one kind of way I noticed how this drawing works. You just kind of make one little line, and then you just like try to make it 3D. And I know this, I'm making actually mistakes in there because the outline of the ear should be actually much more lighter. But yeah, furry kingdom, imagine that. I don't know how much, this identity actually, like, of someone in a costume actually draws you in.
Akosi.
I don't really know.
I remember the man who decapitated the girl wore a rabbit mask. Cringe.
Oh man! That is quite terrible. Rabbit mask. Yeah, I'll go.
A cream.
I haven't actually had
they
that
will
sort of
return to their natural habitat, or start
a
new
very,
one, making a bunch of evolutional
sort of
mishaps down the road. Spurgilema.
Oh man.
Crazy tribes of people pretending to be animals in the apocalypse. That's funny and terrifying at the same time.
And very terrifying. Imagine like people with spears like
Sorry,
and
making you imagine that.
Oh man. Sorry, you're making imagine that. Oh man. No worries. I tell you, it's still a nasty thing, of course, but still, that's life, I suppose. Thing is, man, furry tribes, and the loyalty lies within the. I don't actually know about like what are the wordings and like who is the leader, and they have this sort of comic cons, but it's like the same with the My Little Pony fandom, which is weirdly a lot of males are with that, like a grown-up males, and there's something weird about that. Like there's something that just like makes me like like in the Dark Souls person, like the I don't know what the person said there, but it's kind of like there's this sort of feel on it, at least. I might have it like bad founded, but it's still it's a feeling I got. It's a small feeling, yeah.
A cream. You mean Raifura East? They have one in Finland.
Rainforest? No, are they even Finland even? Oh man. They're everywhere. My brother shared this sort of like he's a big fan of Warhammer 40k, and he's shared this sort of stuff that there was this sort of like there's this empire of something like that, and they were like fighting against the furries or something like that. This sort of like we have to purge them all. And that was actually pretty funny, but even though that was pretty gross as well at the same time. Pretty gross. But still. Here we go. Let's mix this with over here.
Spurgilema.
Get some 3D.
The furries and broys hate each other. It's kind of amusing.
Oh, is there like a hate really? Oh, actually, I didn't know. It's like when the apocalyptic feel is going to come, they're going to be like a
cream.
Big war between.
It's like the furries Comic Con thing, or some community get together.
And of course, some nasty things. I don't really know. I cannot say that. I have not been in those. I can't really say. But still, like, I can understand why people could like that aesthetic, but at the same time, like,
multi-hall.
if I would, like, I'm personally a big fan
of,
I'm not sure about, I mean, longer, especially on how they are doing, but I was, like, Digimon was a big thing, and it would be weird for me to have a big Digimon costume on me. Like, I don't like it, it would be very weird, and you would be very, like, of course, I would be cringy and out sort of fashion, but, like, even worse, it would be weird. It would be like a, what's up with me sort of fashion. And it's rightfully so. It's not like a normalcy I would personally wish for anyone to really look for, I suppose. It's going to make this even more black than it is.
A cream.
I don't know how this is
going. Digimo is not furry.
Yeah, gladly no. But yeah, they are breaching every place. They're coming and conquering. I like wars between bronies and furries. When apocalypse happens, wait for that to happen, I tell you. I don't know how they're very self-sustained communities, because in real life, I've been in farming. I don't know, is the furry thing going to be really going away if the real life sticks in? Because the thing is, it's kind of this sort of phenomena that happens in the cityscapes. This sort of like, people just, their childhood's taking over sort of fashion. That I think like this sort of thing is. Here we go. Let's make the ear a little bit like this.
Multi-hall.
I suppose there's something.
You could use this wolf as a model for a furry costume head.
Yay!
You could stream
and
the
we
making
call
of
it
that suit.
A dark edgelord. I don't know. What would be our furry name? Please don't tell me. I'm never going to do that. If somebody, if the tribe is going to, the initiation ritual, of course, for the furry tribe is going to be that they kidnap people and then they make them to wear furry costumes. And once you do that, you're never going to return to normal.
From what I understand, they feel like they have a second personality that can only come out when they put on the suits.
That's kind of like a second personality. That's some kind of like a psychopathic thing. I don't know. I suppose it's kind of like a role play, but some playing can be taken to an extreme, and it seems like that is where I, let's say, look at that sort of situation. I can understand the interest for the art style of the sort of that's the cartoon characters, but some things I suppose can go further than normal, I suppose. I have 2 friends that ask like, yeah, furries, hooray, but I'm like personally, I'm like, I'm not sure is that the right way to say them. Of course, someone could come here even to the stream and say potentially protect, say like, hey, they actually pretty okay, and I suppose they are, but it's still a little bit kind of gives me this sort of fierce, weird sort of vibe. I don't know. But of course, when it comes to artist style and let's make a comic and such furry style, I suppose. But when you put a costume, then it's yeah. Then my agreement kind of runs out, I suppose.
Darth Haven.
Darth Haven, how are you doing? Good to see you. We are doing a wolf over here and talking about
Daycrawler furries. Normal Joe at weekdays. Full-on fursuit at weekends. Spurgilema. Some people become too obsessed with things and then it becomes cringe.
That's the thing. Reality. Thing is, I'm personally doing farming. I'm farming things and life and such. I'm not saying I'm the biggest on that. I'm actually like there's some people that have cows even in our neighborhood like next to us, and that's actually much more like I'm just grow crops and potatoes and such. But the thing is, the reality kicks in. Then these sort of things like I think these things can only like be born in cities, sort of fashion. Yeah. in this sort of closed bubbles, I suppose. I might be wrong, of course, and an educated person might be, but it must be like you said, Sperglama. When you obsess with something too much, then it becomes a issue sort of fashion. Here we go. Let's look on the eye section over here. Yeah, if you know any kind of names we could call this fall thingy, let me know. I'm actually thinking about that. I have no idea what name should we call on it, but like especially when it comes to the fur look of this, I suppose it is getting better. It's kind of messy in some areas, but we're going to of course add some white colors. We're going to add some brown colors to it and such once we go forward. Thing is, now the snout area could be something we could work on. Here we go. This is actually something I need to be very careful of, because otherwise it starts to have a mustache. And for some reason the music stopped playing. Well, that's good. That is excellent. How are you doing this day on Darth Haven and others? Let me know as well. We are having a discussion on life of, I suppose, wolves as well, but some other activities as well. Some people having costumes. We do have wolves where we live near us, and we have there's not many of them. I have like 2 in the whole village, and that's like a whole big area. But of course, I would be very careful when it comes to sleeping like in a tent outside over here. If I go to very deep in the forest, of course, the forest area is very large and long. Especially in the winter times, the wolves might be dangerous because they are hungry in that time.
Multi-hog. Need nostrils also.
Nostrils, of course, going to go that for that, but of course going to be focusing on this first. Very true, very, very true. Nostrils for the win. Have you done art yourself, Multi-hog? Personally, have been doing a little bit of it, but only limited ways. Let me see. So it's kind of like this is how the whole thing goes. Sort of
Multi-hog. Ah.
Nah. All right. Got it. It's some people have interest, some people have don't. I do know. I do understand.
Multi-hog.
It is a kind of a.
I'd draw big fat hogs if I could.
Okay. Well, that's a one way to put it. I know that Aiko, if she's still here, she is sort of drawing.
Varg the Viking wolf.
Varg the Viking wolf. And of course, we need to have a Viking helmet for him. We need to actually start a manga about this. Yes, a manga. Let's actually have his name on there. A font. Let's see. Varga.
Aiko.
Viking.
Interesting way of drawing
Viking
hairs.
wolf.
Hairs are quite delicate to paint with acrylized paints.
Yeah, very true
Aiko.
that, I tell you.
Acrylic.
I cannot put this in here. Why I cannot? To use all the fonts you need to log it in. Well, I'm not really interested on that, I tell you. I'm just going to copy it in there. Let's just do it there. Yeah. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to log into anything. I'm not going to purchase your lovely fonts, I tell you. But the Warg the Viking it is. Acrylic. It's kind of like it must be very different on how others do it, and I might be doing it technically wrong, but I've noticed that this somehow works. So of course eluukkanen is going to be going through inspiration of somehow it works, and then we put it there. That's how we go. That's how we roll sometimes. Now let me put in here as another layer. Yeah, here we go. I cannot add the text. Oh, add it as a picture then. Just a moment. Varg the Viking wolf. Yeah. What sort of tail has Varg the Viking wolf? Who knows? I cannot copy this for some reason. It is a picture in here. Yeah. I want to add his name to it. It's a portrait. Of course, there has to be a name for it. Well, we're gonna be drawing it in there. Well, if you force me, program, to do it like this, then I do it like this. use. You can see my great handwriting. Let's see. Wog the Viking Wolf. That's actually a great children's story title. Oh yeah. We're gonna make this a book, I tell you. I don't know. That's it. Wog the Viking Wolf and his adventures to become the greatest Viking there is. I don't know, is a wolf really an animal for Vikings per se? Is there an animal for Viking type? Might be. One thing I'm going to be doing after this nostrils is going to be the big one, yes. But I have this one style I'm going to be drawing out much more, but now our little mad Viking Wog is having his best times, of course, because we're going to enable his sense of smell, and that is going to happen by nostrils. Sort of like that. There we have that. Here we go. The other one is going to be like in this sort of interesting shape.
Akosi. Who is Varg the Viking Wolf?
Varg the Viking Wolf is the greatest adventurer that has ever known. Look at him. Varg the Viking Wolf. Oh, we got the text over there. Nice, good. So Varg the Viking Wolf is a known adventurer in the Nordic landscape of Norway and feared by his enemies, eating all the deer that he can find. The greatest adventurer that's ever known. He sailed back to England and back again. And of course he sailed to America as well. Yes, of course. Varg the Viking Wolf. The greatest adventurer that was ever known. Yes, actually, that was actually a very... hey, who knows? An idea, though, but still. A pleasure to have you on this Tuesday. We are drawing a wolf. As best as of my abilities, I can tell you, best of my abilities
I was
is
told
not the
as
best.
a child Leif Erikson enjoyed the company of orange cats.
Let's see, I was told as a child Leif Erikson enjoyed company of orange cats. Is that a true thing? Oh, actually, I need to write that down right now. Leif Erikson, orange cats. I need to put that somewhere, man. That's quite something. I didn't know. Orange cats? That doesn't sound really manly.
Little Red Riding Hood needs to run away, smiling face with open mouth and
yeah,
smiling eyes.
When somebody has this like look, then go away. Leave me! The original Red Riding Hood, there was no hunter that came to save the Red Riding Hood. The original story was very dark and brutal. I actually reading the old stories, and usually they had a very sad ending. I read this interesting story I might be actually using later on, which is this like a yellow dwarf, and there was this princess that the yellow dwarf forced the princess to marry her and marry him and such, and yeah, very very interesting to like. These old stories are very sad, usually are very dark endings they have. That's how they usually roll with their stories. Here we go. Let's put some. So the idea is, I have this one technique I'm going to be using. I'm going to be testing it out. It's a sort of like a line technique that you can use to really like to do the shapes. But only way you have to do this, it's just like lines over and over again. And of course following the original line. Original line, we need to follow the original line like this. Then you're able to do the shape once you do that enough. And of course it has to be like less sort of let me actually do some touch thing on this. So we have a less touch. Here we go. So less we do touching on this side, then it is like the shape kind of reveals itself, sort of fashion.
Spurgilema. I know many Germanic fairy tales did not end happily. Walt Disney wrote happy endings to the ones he adapted to movies.
Yeah, man, we need some dark, sad endings for the children to traumatize. Well, not really. But I tell you, like, old stories were very traumatizing, I tell you. I think children should be able to handle, like, sad things in their medium. I hate this sort of forced happiness. Of course, there needs to be a dream-like happiness, like in Aiko's work and such, like this sort of like a happy thing. But there needs to also be sadder topics, of course, with lighter tones and such. But of course, you can do that sort of topics, and children still going to enjoy that.
Aiko C. In Fort for Little Red Riding Hood, there are two versions. For Charles Perrault, she is eaten. It's the first version. For the Grimm brothers, she is alive and safe with her grandma.
Yeah, that's the thing. Very different versions for different creators. Very different creators, I tell you. It's interesting in a sense because you know those stories of the old, they could change depending on who told them. And now there's like a Disney copyright is forever lasting. So of course nobody's going to take any Mickey Mouse and make interesting stories with that, no. I think Disney should actually like just leave that. The others could take the Disney things forward and make some good stuff with that. But of course they want to control it forever. It's never going to expire, I tell you.
A cream. They need to know reality.
Children need to know reality. Indeed.
There is a balance in
healthy.
life. It's good to not take anything to an extreme.
Balance and the middle road is very good in usually cases, usually all
JK.
cases. Hey, JK. Do you mean by G.K. Rowling? GK? I don't know what that shortening is, but I've been reading about G.K. Rowling recently, man. I never read Harry Potter books, but man, what happened to the writer of Harry Potter books is actually got me thinking. Like, did she actually have shadow writers behind her? Because, like, it's such a dramatic change from her old writings, like what I've heard and seen. Like, I read a little bit of the Harry Potter books, and I know that the current things that like they having in them, which are crazy.
Short for joke.
Didn't have that. Short for joke. Ah, yeah. I'm learning every day something new. I know what was the
A cream. As I was just joking.
Of course. I learn every day some new things. One of them, of course, internet culture. I didn't realize I'm very much like this, uneducated on the how internet. Like, as I told you one time, like, be right back. I didn't know all of these things. How did I should have known that sort of stuff? I'm old-fashioned, and I kind of like that. There needs to be these hype people that are always like, hey, welcome to...
But in junior high school,
sort of
I studied the Charles Perrault fairy tales, so learned the first version of Red Riding Hood.
Oh. What do you prefer yourself? Do you think it should be where the Red Riding Hood gets eaten? Because I think that's kind of a lesson in itself. Like, you know, don't go if someone just says, hey, let's do that and that. Don't tell where you are going from to a strange man in the woods. Like, that's kind of I think the lesson from this. And, you know, don't go to this old house that has, you know, candy in there, and that's like a Hansel and Gretel sort of fashion. Don't do it. It might be deadly. And these were like teachings for the youngsters. These were like teaching for the youngsters. And nowadays, nothing like that. Everything is just happy, fine and glory, la la la. I personally been looking this sort of effect that has happened, especially with the wolves, because of the cityfying of people.
Not to get political, but I feel Harry Potter tried too hard to stay with the times, and I think it took a toll on the story's quality.
I suppose that. Not to get political, but I feel Harry Potter. Yeah, it's supposed to. I suppose.
Don't go into the van.
man, I almost had that happen to my childhood, I tell you. And not in a van sort of fashion, but there was this hiking thing in the school. And this is actually I could have actually died there, because the thing is, there was these people that were like in this sort of camping area place. And they were like, hey, come in, this sort of fashion. And I didn't know what was going on, but something happened with instinct that I just ran away, and I'm happy that I did. I was alone at that time, and there's these people with a car, and 3 males, and they were like, come in, sort of fashion. And I'm glad I ran away, but the thing is, I personally think, like, looking back at that, I was very young when that happened.
I take everything. I like the happy ending, but on the other hand, I like the obscure side of fairy tales, as if we explored the deep side. Paradoxal, I know.
I do like the paradoxal side, this sort of fashion. I do like that, because then, like, it is, but of course, kind of reflecting on real life throughout fantasy, I also like that sort of fashion. But not like just getting politics, I don't mean that, but like, aside from politics, real life things. Teachings of study, like that's how the old stories were invented. Like we just talked about yesterday, or actually 2 days ago, about Finnish fairy tales, and there's this fairy tale about a bear, wolf, and a fox, and how they react to and do with each other, and that sort of stuff. But you know, the old fairy tale explained how these different animals react.
Do they have vans in Finland? I thought they only drove snowmobiles, just joking.
Well, we do have summers sometimes too. Of course, a Finnish summer is very different on some other places, because if you go to Lapland and such, the summer never ends. That's kind of the thing. Kind of same, you know, perhaps to Northern America as well, but of course, in Finland we have lakes and such combined to that, so it's like a never-ending party, indeed. A never-ending party, indeed. In a good sense, not like a creepy sense. But I tell you, like, it's a good lesson to learn that, you know, don't go to a van, don't, like, it's, because it happens, and I think too much. That's one of the things that really angers me. I tell you, like, these people, like, touched, and I don't really want to even talk about it too much. Like, I'm very pissed off those people. Like, I usually don't get pissed off people, like, about that. Those people, man, I've no respect for those whatsoever at all. There never should happen that. I wish I have the family myself, and that's the biggest, like, the nightmare situation that can happen to a parent. And yeah, I know our stream, lovely wolf stream got a bit dark, but I tell you, that happens too much on these modern times. Not very fond of that. Here we go, we're doing the nose for it. Nose. It's like usually interesting, like the nose, someone knows, and then they have nose. Interesting, just notice that. But Finnish and English language in a very different sort of logic to them, I tell you. Very different logics. That's the stories, that's what they should do. All stories, they should actually, of course it's a very dark topic, but in a sense, like, all stories, they should actually teach people, like, they were originally something that taught people lessons. Good lessons, I would tell you. Good lessons to learn. I think the sort of cityfication, especially when it comes to people's relationship to wolves, they are very away from wolves. They don't actually see wolves that often. They don't see the reaction of what wolves do to the cattle and such. So it kind of also the danger with the fantasy is that if it goes so much away from the reality, it blurs the reality and how people perceive things. Of course, I do like Spyro the Dragon and this sort of like a yay cutesy stuff, but at the same time, you have to have this sort of reality lens. Like, if you see a wolf outside, they are not your best friend. That's about. I think people just get very, very quiet, and I think because of the topic we just discussed, and I suppose that's alright. Because the thing is, that one's quite nasty. I don't really want to talk about it even too much, because man, it's nasty. Man, it's nasty. And we have a wolf over here. Eluukkanen streams. Yesterday we talked about politics, and now we talk about nasty things. So yeah, to really change the tone of it. Here we go. We got ourselves a wolf's nose, and that looks like a pig, which is not good. Which is not good at all. It looks like a pig. Goddamn. It shouldn't be like a pig nose. It looks like a pig nose to me, but not very good. Not very good at all. Looks like a pig nose, and that's not good.
Spurgilema. We used to live in the woods and respect them. Now we left the woods and fear them since we lost our connection.
We need to get back to the woods.
I think the snoot holes go sideways too.
Snoot holes. I suppose. Yeah, that's true.
A cream.
That's kind of true.
Like dogs are.
Yeah, I kind of like dogs. I don't. Oh, and I noticed a mistake. So basically, it kind of goes like the downwards on this sort of fashion, and then it goes like a up sort of fashion on from this side. Let's make it actually darker. Then let's make this. Let's white color. We need to have the connection back, I'll tell you. I personally think it's a very valuable thing in life. Because the thing is, that's where we came from. I personally, like, I had this mix of city life and countryside life, which I personally like, because the fact is that when you have that, you can kind of reflect on both of those. There are good sides and bad sides on both of them. Like a countryside idiot, kind of the stereotype doesn't come from nowhere, I tell you. It doesn't come from nowhere. But at the same time, country is a very important thing. Here we go. Especially researching the reality of things. Personally, many of my friends that I know living outside of Finland are very much... And all that, like, I do recommend this sort of experience if you can have with nature, let's say, you know, not just like going into nature, but I mean like working and farming, because then it kind of roots you into the reality of things. That's the thing. And we, as human beings, we need that. Whiteness in here, whiteness in here, sort of fashion. We have whiteness in here. Here we go. Let's go back to black colors. Here we go. Like a painting sort of fashion we do this, but we shall see are we actually successful with it. Here we go. Wolfenstein. Here we go. What's wrong with it, though? Something wrong with it. I suppose that's like it is, but at the same time... it's like... let's do the other fur, and then I think we're gonna be working on that much more. Yeah, but continue. I'm very, very quiet recently. Oh man. Thing is, I shouldn't be talking about too much dogged topics. I need to get back to the story fantasy stuff. I tell you, because the thing is,
Spurgilema.
The thing is,
I have read works by Petty Lee Kohler. I have much respect for him, but he is considered extreme by many.
Who is Petty Lee Kohler?
ACOC. I will eat now, but I come back so to see the
no
progress.
No worries. We're going to be seeing and doing the progress as we're
X.
doing. Hopefully enough when you come back, even more than in the past. But yes, I will eat. See you, Icon. It was a pleasure to have you, of course. I'm very much painter herself, so she knows her stuff. I personally do not. I'm still very limited when it comes to this whole thing. Like, I can just look at the basic things, you know, basic things. There's still something, I suppose, but basic is, as the name calls, a basic. Thing is, I need to do the first. Who is Pentti Linkola? Who is Pentti Linkola? He's like, make stories, make some creative works, who knows? I can actually search that right away from the search window and see who that is. I might be mixing that with someone. I might have an idea who that is though, but I'm not quite sure. Like, as you can see, I'm just doing some like lines over here.
He is an ecologist.
Ecologist? Oh, I see. What sort of work he does with the ecologist, ecologist work that he does? I can't even speak now. Yeah, I'm turning something that I do not really wish to be. Oh, here we go. Thing is, now the mouth is going to be interesting part we're going to be working on with the Walk the Viking. The Adventures of Walk the Viking. Here we go. Let's have this sort of fashion. Yeah, we have oh, we have Crash Bandicoot music in the background. Are they going to do another Crash Bandicoot game, or are they going to actually focus next on the Spyro stuff? Who knows? I don't know how people over here interested in that sort of stuff, but I have done some of the remakes for those of the series. I have a little bit of interest for that, especially seeing how where it goes is going to be something I'm interested at. Sort of like this, sort of like this, and of course it's more. Oh, goddamn! It's more darker when it comes to this side of this mouth. Here we go. Then we have the fur on the other side of the mouth. Coming against it. Here we go. And then we have a little bit of the shading there. Our wolf is starting to look something, I suppose. What that something is, it's still a mystery. Of course, a mystery for all of us. You know, the dog face, it actually... I don't know how the evolution does this, but like it seems so carefully crafted. All these sort of elements in there, which is actually very interesting in a sense.
Spurgilema. You're adding personality to him.
Personality? Oh yeah, that's what we do. Now, of course, the eyes are still like the madman's eyes, but they're going to be changing that, of course. Working on that sort of stuff. But yes, the personality, what is in the picture, as you can see, the picture is very much with personality. And I do like the dog face has this sort of personality feel, very pleasant sort of look they have, usually. Is that the facial hair looks kind of dumb though. But also at the same time, it's not that fixed in the original picture as well. I'm glad you like the look on somehow. It's still of course limited, yeah, but of course we're gonna get better, get making some stuff over here. The facial hair is kind of interesting with the wolf sides. This is sort of like the small like beard sort of stuff going off. Of course, dogs don't have beard; they have this sort of like a things over here, just protecting their face from all stuff like this. Here we go. Yeah, like I personally have this sort of dream idea. I have some of the like I would like to make a manga, but not like the basic manga that you know I could describe, but something like actually very different. The story, not just anime and boobs and such, but I'm actually something that is kind of there's this interesting story going. I have this idea, but of course I'm still limited, so developing skill towards that in long term would be potentially good. And it might be drawing my own style as well, so it might be actually like people like, well, this is no manga, this is some kind of a weird style we are having over here. You know, it might be true as well at the same time. But I've had some ideas of a story. I want to incorporate Finland to that stuff, because Finland, there's some lovely, especially fantasy elements in Finland. I would really want to incorporate when it comes to creative works. Of course, promoting Finland. I'm very biased here, but that's what I'm proud of that, because the thing is, that's what you have to do. If you have like, let's say, English, of course, English.
I think if you bring his right eye a bit closer, it might fix it.
Might be. We have to see about that. We can actually use the picture editing program to try that out. We might. Spergilama, have you have any good sort of stuff you have personally watched as like read mangas, animals, like I don't know animals, but I mean like mangas that you have read, anything like that? Let me know if that's the case, if there's anything like that. Because I've only few ones. Recently been, as I said, reading the Beastars, and you know, of course everything is like maybe the high school stuff, but still that has like an interesting actually build up for it. Yes. Thing is, of course, they're going to base their stories all in the high schools, because most people who read these are from high schools, from these Japan places and such. Well, that's an easy environment to put people at. I don't know. Everybody has been in high school, so it's kind of easy to, at least most people that are reading at least. That's a very easy environment that then to put people at. Yes. Here we go.
A cream. A Ratu is a default one.
Naruto! Yes, indeed. There's some manga ones and that. I've actually read Naruto at all. That was a big thing in Finland.
I mostly just watch anime. I never read much for manga.
Kind of same for me personally, but recently I've been trying to change that, because I know that some of the original mangas are actually much better than the animes, because animes are like, they sometimes change stuff which I'm personally not fond of. The changes are kind of, can you actually see the tablet on my hands? No, you cannot. Anyways, thing is, sometimes the animes change some stuff in there, and sometimes other way around as well. Sometimes they make it better, but especially in that and Beastars thing, it's much more better as a read experience.
Spergilama. Full Metal Alchemist was one of my favorites.
Full Metal Alchemist, I like that one as well. That's actually that has a kind of like a basis that the characters feel real. That's what I liked about that anime. I don't know about the Brotherhood and such, but you know, it kind of, they feel real. That's the thing.
Shadow the Parrot Gamer.
Hey, Shadow!
Hello and good morning.
Shadow! Good morning.
I read and watch Rose of Versailles.
We are doing a wolf over here, and it's a mad wolf, and we have named it Varg the Viking Wolf, of course. And you are from Norway yourself, Shadow, so very much we have a connection to Norway. I read and watched Rose of Versailles. Actually don't know that. Let me actually put that to memory. Of course, going to check out if you have any good ones to suggest. I know, of course, Naruto, but that other one I don't. We are just looking at some of the things over here, and basically what we're looking at is we are making a wolf. A drawing of a wolf. With my limited skills of drawing. But still, somewhat alright, it has become. Somewhat alright. Of course, not perfect in any state, anyways. Because it's still in the creation of it. But as you can see, it's in some process at least. Yes. Work the Viking. Do you ever know any good Viking names? Are there like Viking animal types and such? I don't actually know.
A cream. Inspired by the French Revolution.
Like that sort of French. French Revolution made some good books, many lovely lovely ones. Les Miserables.
Shadow the Parrot Gaming. It looks quite good though.
Oh, thank you. It's still
Josette opinion.
Oh, thank you very much. It's of course in creation, and it looks like an anime wolf. We're going to be adding him glasses, and we're going to be adding him Viking helmet. Who knows? This might be our future comic character for a future comic book, Varg the Viking, and his glorious adventures around the Northern Pole. Of course.
Spurgilema. I watched the movie as a very young child.
Oh, you watch Moomins? You might have you seen some of the, I actually done some Moomin remakes for the Moomins. I'm personally, the 80s and 90s Moomin is a personally good one, because I like animes that actually are like a written well, and that is written well. I don't know about the dubs. The Finnish dub is very excellent, but like the same with the original Digimon anime, I did like how it was written. Like, no matter the IP, I do like good, well-written stuff.
Hello.
Hey, who is that? Greg Zam, man, hello there, how are you doing? We are doing some wolf drawing over here. How are you doing? A new fella from the Twitch land, as you can see. Our animal wolf, and we have named him Warg the Viking Wolf. We actually, this was not a plan, we just put it over.
Greg is fine, laughing, smiling.
Greg is fine, alright. Greg works then. Let's do with the Greg. How are you doing, Greg? Are you from somewhere around? Greg sounds like an English-speaking name. Let me know. I'm from Finland myself. My name is Elias, but of course Elias, I know that in other countries they use that name quite a lot often, actually.
Gregisma.
It's a kind of a biblical name.
I'm from the UK.
UK! Oh,
I guess
Britannia rules the seas. Bladder, never, never, never shall be slaves. That sort of fashion. Oh, they're good to see. I guess every Ghibli movies are good. I suppose they are excellent with the quality, man. They are excellent. Yeah, and it's hard to deny that. It's very hard to deny that. Of course, some of them are better than others. Some of them have been rushed, like the Howl's Moving Castle. That was rushed. Definitely, you can see that. You can see that. I tell you. How are you doing today, Greg's man? Mostly though. Mostly, as you say. Yeah, mostly they are good. I like Mononoke very much. There's this big wolf in Mononoke. Can actually, yeah, I'm not going to put that on the screen, but you can check out the Mononoke wolf. This, and I have this cover of Mononoke. There's this wolf with a bloody mouth, and this was in my library. My children like place. Like usually animes, because they think in the current generation, some people think that all animes are like children anime. And they put this sort of very grown-up anime in the children position, and even the cover art has like a wolf with a bloody mouth.
Is it getting late over there? The sun is coming up where I am.
It's 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. in here. It's not late at all. Of course, when it's morning in America, it's kind of midday here in Finland. How much clock is that over there? But Greg, how are you doing? Are you familiar with... do you do drawing yourself? Let me know. I'm a composer mainly, so I don't really do drawing. But it seems I'm doing right now. Some luck in it, some not lucky. I don't know. The eyes look weird. Let me know if you have any criticism of the thing at all. Shout out to Parrot, have you been drawing yourself? Haven't yet watched your current draw work that you have had in eluukkanen server that we have. Haven't yet checked them out. I'm going to be, of course, doing that. When the time comes. Here we go. We got the ears supposedly right. They're still not the best, but at least we got something done over here. That's the thing. I know these very talented, like, full-time artists, and I'm very just like scratching a surface, man. Like, they can do the shading, they can do everything, they can do the emotions, they can do original stuff, like, easy. I'm just like using a picture as a model. Yes, I'm actually doing that, and that's a kind of a sad thing. People should be able to put just like, hey, I want to do this, and then they could just do that. Of course, that requires some practice, I know. That's what we're doing here for. If you have any ideas on how we should improve the wolf, someone suggested about the eyes. I don't know who was that. I think it was Sperglama or Cream. Someone suggested on the eyes. We should work on them very soon. Here we go. The thing is, when you get this sort of just many lines like this, you're able to do the shapes really lovely. Like, look at that. I like how this is kind of going. But of course, some professional artists might be like, hey, that looks terrible. Terrible. But still, I don't really mind at all. Look at that.
Shadow the Parrot Gaming.
Here we go. Looks like a wolf.
Do you work with a reference?
Reference is the picture. Oh, I forgot the reference. Yeah, that's the reference. That is the reference, and of course we're going to make this anime as possible. Of course, the memeiest anime picture we can do. We are obliged to do that, of course, because that's our destiny. Let's have the reference. Reference is now on the screen. Back. How's you doing this Tuesday? Myself, I'm going to be doing some outside work today. Also, probably going to work on some game works and also putting some music online. That's my plan on today. That's my plan. Here we go. I should do really a simple anime kind of drawing, because if I would do this more, that would ease the time. That's why anime people draw eyes like very simple ways. They don't do this sort of fashion like I do over here. Or perhaps they do, of course, it depends. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is very much known for its great art style.
You butchered the snoot.
You butchered it! Oh no! I'm kinda butchering it. I do not really know what is the best way to do it. Ah, you mean about snoot? Yeah, it looks bad yet, but I tell you, I need to do the shape of it. The shape of it is important. That's the thing. I'm going to be adding the colors and lighting and such, but the shape is very important when it comes to this new thing over here. Because I'm potentially going to be just doing the whole thing, like it has colors and this sort of stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's kind of butchered, I tell you that much, I agree. But as we begin our adventure, can we even stop?
A cream. The basic form was good before you shade them.
I'm going to be showing you that there's an idea. I might have actually ruined it, but I have this idea.
Spergilema. You mentioned more serious cartoons here in the US. Many of us were accidentally shown Watership Down by our parents not knowing what it was.
Yeah, the bunny thing, yeah. I actually seen that. That's a very brutal one, especially the final battle. Man, bloody as hell. So yeah, bloody. We actually haven't had a kind of accidentally shown dark things here in Finland. I suppose closest is this sort of Pingu, but I suppose that's not a really like a terrifying. This is actually I got like nightmares from that sort of episode when I was very young. There's this dream state this Pingu penguin gets, and this is like a big sort of walrus that is constantly trying to eat him and laugh and like stretch there. It was very creepy back in the day, but of course I was a child back then. I never wanted to watch that episode again. It's kind of creepy if you just Google Pingu walrus. It's kind of creepy, and for children, it kind of like it's not like a terrifying, but it's creepy sort of fashion.
This picture.
Ziggabagger, indeed. I'm kind of butchering it. I have to admit that though. Let's actually fix some of it. Let's put a big brush. Thing is, I need to make the shape somehow.
I've seen gifs of that.
It's actually very terrifying, I tell you, especially for children. Like, it's very creepy. Like, it's not like you cannot understand it. It's like something like Alien in a sense. Like, I don't know how you explain it, but like when you have this sort of like a creepy dude coming to stretch you and such, and like laughing in this sort of weird fashion, it's there's something weird going on. Like it's not natural at all. There's an idea I have with this note, but I need to be careful with that. I need to be careful. How are you doing, Siggebag? Good to see you. Good to see familiar faces again. We are doing Wolfenstein, but in a ring. So wolves. We are drawing wolves. That's the thing. Here we go. I'm going to be doing a somewhat of like, that's a mistake right there. We cannot have the lines go like that. That's not how it works. Here we go. At least right. That's better. So the idea is that, you know, around the, you know, the movement and the shapes, we're going to do these lines, and then we're going to be lighting them later on, so it looks better. That's the idea, at least.
I think once you clean up the eyes, he will be fine.
I suppose you're right. Of course, eyes is going to be the first thing we worked on, and then the last thing we're going to work on, I tell you. That's the thing. I need zoom on that spot. Let's zoom. Isn't Zoom like some kind of a new application you use to talk, like some kind of Skype or something? Actually, I was very surprised to hear that there's a new, like, I thought that people already use Skype. Like, how could that sort of program get so much attention? I'm very surprised about that. Very surprised about that. But life is surprising. I'm very happy on the Discord side of things. Like, personally, when I discovered that, I actually very much like Discord. Of course, there can be good Discords, bad Discords, but personally, most of the time, Discord is a very...
I'm doing fine. Nice Wolf BTW.
Hey, thank you, by the way. I know even that. I've learned some of the new terms from online worlds. Indeed. How long we have been actually doing this stream for? We have been doing this for 2 hours. Well, time goes fast. We do actually a speed painting from this. I could actually just speed the painting. Oh yeah, that's a speed painting. I'm very happy with that speed.
Zoom came out of nowhere, in my opinion.
What do you say? Zoom came out of... Yeah, that's very true. That's very weird. Like, do you have any opinions on that? Because... is it just because they are a big company they can just like burp something and everybody eats it? But it's kind of weird. I think this whole thing, how things go from nowhere, especially looking at this whole quarantine thing and such, it's kind of weird. I personally, especially looking how like one of the leaders that is like going through this investigation on this whole thing that's happening.
Yes, Zoom is like Skype, but it was banned in some countries, like Canada, because it's not a safe conversation program.
Yeah, that's the thing. I try to say that to friends of mine who is using that because their workplace forced them to. It's not safe at all. Some people can just come there and kind of and that sort of stuff. It's like I don't know what sort of new feature does it like offer, but it's that's very interesting. So it's banned. Why? Is the protection there so bad or something? I don't know. It's Microsoft owned, so yeah, go figure. But I thought Skype was Microsoft owned as well. So why do they do something that competes against themselves? Thing is, I wouldn't very much use it. There's so many other options. Of course, Skype is, I don't know how safe is that, but I prefer much Skype over any, I mean like, and Discord over that sort of fashion. I wouldn't have jumped on Discord if there wouldn't have been these communities and all the features it has.
It may snoop on people.
Hey PBSA, I didn't see you by the way. Good to see you. And yeah, it might snoop. Give your data to the overlord, the Bill Gates himself. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Not sure, not sure. I'm not a technical person, who knows about that sort of stuff. I like this sort of like the shading thing. Of course, we're going to be adding the white colors, so there's going to be like a balance in there as well. Like this on my mind makes the depth for this sort of. Let's see, there's a lot of white in here, but there's a lot of darker in here fashion. I don't really like any of these technical things that snoop on people. Of course, I've kind of understood that, like my mobile phone is already like this sort of a Palantir from Lord of the Rings that is must be watching me, because I was suggested some advertisements back in just a few months ago that was
also Zoom is from a Chinese company, and the Chinese government can come to their HQ and say all your data belong to China, us, and they can't data privacy law. There isn't a thing like that, China.
Man, that's good. I didn't know that. China, China, what are you doing now? Why is this nasty flu going around? Yeah, China is China, I tell you. China. Actually visited China one time and I was not really impressed, to be honest. I want to visit like this sort of real Chinese feeling place. I have to tell you, like perhaps I didn't just see every other good Chinese place, but in China it felt like not really Chinese. I don't know what was that, but it didn't feel like that. Because I went to the Forbidden City and all of these and the long like what is there, like the big wall of China, and the big wall of China was actually really impressive. But the Forbidden City.
In the US we have a thing called WhatsApp that is popular but was developed by our government.
Yeah, we use WhatsApp as well, unfortunately as well.
The picture gives off feeling like the lion from the court of the Crimson King.
Let me actually Google that. That sounds actually interesting enough. I don't know what the Crimson King is. But a cream.
Probably the eyes.
Might be the eyes, because it kind of like this mad look on himself. I'm going to be always, if someone says something interesting sounding, that sounds something interesting, I'm going to be writing it down here and checking it out later. That's my thing. Because that's the thing. You can learn quite a lot of things from people that come into streams. I've learned that, and that is a good lesson, I think, and something I really need to be careful, because sometimes, like, I got some very good advice from people that were watching.
Being the worst is that is easy to hack into a private conference because their security protocols are only good for a one-to-one talk, and not for multiple people talking.
That's not good at all. That's not good at all, I tell you. How is that security program then so bad or something? Is it like is it just that the Chinese can just like take it? I don't know. It's weird that we live in very good and weird times, I tell you. Finland is quite a lot under influence of China, and because it has to be, because we balance the relation of Russia and Chinese with like each other. We're good friends of Chinese and such. Then we are like protected when it comes to Russian relations as well, because Russia fears China sort of fashion. But at the same time,
it's interesting you visited China. Most people seem to go to Japan or the Philippines for Asian countries.
I wanted to see China because, of course, I learned Chinese, and there was this interesting event that happened in there that I participated. Basically, this sort of propaganda tour sort of fashion. It was actually interesting on its own right, I tell you. But I want to visit Japan as well. But like that's the most kind of the most cultural place people want to go. Japan. Japan is like that. I don't know, like the tourism, especially under this current situation, has like stopped on many places. But I was already seeing like declining numbers when it comes to tourism in these places, like in like France and such already. So I don't know. But tourism is interesting because cultures are attractive.
And what SAP can say to the US government, because of data privacy laws, we can't send you everything we have because that would violate this law.
So WhatsApp can say to the US government, because our data privacy laws, we cannot send everything. But does that really protect it? Really, truly? I don't know. there's this interesting application in Chinese called WeChat, and they get basically, it's a WhatsApp, Facebook, and a bank combined together, because you can actually make payments throughout, like in the whole China country with WhatsApp. Of course, it's followed by the whole China by themselves, like they follow the whole thing. Everything is combined there, and it's a social media stuff and such. And they censor
WhatsApp is widely used here in my place, even before bought by Facebook.
Yeah, same here. It's a free way to send. There's this other way. There's this other alternative to WhatsApp, which like functions like the same. It's not Instagram, but it's like this sort of. It's some of else. There are these WhatsApp alternatives as well, of course. Alternatives. It's a good way that there's competition around, sort of pressure, because of course WhatsApp must have changed because of the being bought by the nasty Facebook company. And I'm not saying that you're nasty. I just say I've been using Facebook quite a lot, and it has good sides and quite a lot of other sides as well.
Threema is an app that is super secure, developed by the Swiss and Russia.
Yeah.
Telegram.
Threema. Haven't actually. Telegram, yeah, that's the one I've heard about. I don't know, is it actually safe? Threema, I'm not sure about. Some problem is that, like, some people said that, you know, the Russia side of things. I've personally I'm very lucky that, like, there's my family person that actually, like, studies a lot of Russian, like Russian history and such. And the truth is that Russia does this sort of like spying thing, like any other big country. Like usually that's a problem of big countries. So like the Russian side of things, it doesn't give the data to American side, but at the same time it gives the data to their own side as well, and they're going to use that. So like there's this interesting sort of dualism in using some of the like the V-contact and this sort of stuff, which are controlled by Russians. But compared to Chinese, like they are very sneaky when it comes to their practices. Other countries are not sneaky at all, but like they are very clever, because of course they've had history with Soviet Union doing it so long. God damn, they are very sneaky. At the same time, just last 2 years ago, there was this big leak of Russian spies leaking a lot of information, just leaving them to a van that was just taken by police, and they just found a lot of information. So yeah, but they're still one of the sneakiest nations when it comes to spying, because they do a lot of this sort of very invisible sort of influence, which is very hard to notice, much more harder than, like, let's say, Chinese and others. At least that's what I've noticed. Of course, I'm not an expert when it comes to this.
Back.
Eiko, how are you doing? Do you yourself, people, use telegrams and these Threema, such and such? Oh. If there's a Switch developers, I suppose it's safe. I suppose it depends. I knew this Switch person myself, and he knew Russian as well. It's very interesting, actually. But yeah, like let's see. How are you doing? Was it very good food?
The Chinese have a lot of great hackers. Probably the only country that counter them is Israel.
Yeah, there's some good hackers down there. And they play a lot of video games. And I tell you, a lot of video games, a lot of MMOs, a lot of free-to-play stuff. A lot of microtransactions, such. Hackers, yes. I've even heard about some North Korean ones, but I don't know how they're as skilled. How are you doing, Aiko? Did you eat well? How was it? Was it bon appetit sort of fashion? I haven't actually eaten in some time. Actually, might be ending the stream for just eating at some point over here, I tell you.
Aiko C.
I need to do the eyes.
I haven't eaten a lot. My stomach is kind of weak when it's hot, unfortunately.
Oh, I getcha. Does Israeli has a hackers? That's interesting. BBSA. Of course they must have it. Of course they
Aiko C. But very good indeed.
Every
Winking smiley. Jimmy Hotajavi.
Jimmy!
How cool, Elias. I like it a lot.
Hey, glad you do. It's goddamn just my limited skills It's nothing compared to a real artist really doing it, I tell you. But still, it's coming together somewhat alright. How are you doing, Jimmy? Good to see you, my friend. We're just talking about intelligence and spying and
Hello,
technicality.
Jimmy, my friend.
It's actually a pretty interesting topic, I tell you. Something I do not know too much about. So, of course, very interesting because of that very reason. Getting the knowledge of that. I like the sort of the black sort of fashion over here. Have you done some drawing yourself, Jimmy, and some drawing works? Let me know. Here we go. Let's work on the eyes very soon.
Yori, the wolf.
Oh, what did you say? Yay, the wolf. Oh, of course. And the name of the wolf is Varg the Viking Wolf.
Jimmy Hotajavi.
Of course.
Hey everyone, and thank you for the warm welcome.
Of course, pleasure to have you here from Finland. Oh, actually in Sweden. Yes, that's the place you're from. I sometimes mix that because you have the Finnish sort of surname feel. Hautajärvi is very much a Finnish feeling name at least. Ooh. Well, good to see. How are you doing? Yes, indeed, we are doing some wolves over here. And that's what we need to do. Like a warm welcome, always a pleasure.
The US does a lot of that snooping too. Interestingly, we have a lot of former Soviets who influence things with money.
What? The US done a lot of the snooping into recently. We have a lot of former
And in
Soviet...
case of the wolf is getting pretty good, way better than I can do. Being on paper, I could do it in a oakish way.
It's I tell you, like I don't know, is it all right? I suppose it's good. I've been doing this sort of like a line, this drawing. In other styles, I might not be able to do it, but I suppose it looks all right. The anime eyes are still kind of a worrisome thing. But hey, I appreciate the compliment. Thank you, PBSA. So you mentioned drawing. Have you drawn yourself? Of course. Drawing is a lovely skill, especially if you want to doodle something around. I personally, in many classes I was in school, I would just doodle around. Yeah, I actually remember those doodling sessions much more than actually than the studies themselves, man. That's the thing. That's how to roll. That's how you have to do it. The personality is soon going to start because, of course, the eyes, we're going to be developing those into something else. I tell you, we're going to be starting colors with the eyes. I'm still going to be doing this part of the body because, man, this is not ready. Here we go. Machine together. Have you been doing some music recently? Hauta. What are your plans? Personally, I want to talk about you. I want to talk to you really soon. If you're alright with that, I will be asking you. I will send you a message in Discord land. People are not still part of the Discord. I want you very much. Let me know if you're interested to join, because our Discord is very different from all the others. Like, usually Discords are these sort of places like just memes go around and such.
I draw on school
we actually have a
because there was
very,
a class
very
where you draw stuff, and that was the only place I draw.
Sharing your own work and collaborating together. We just had currently a video collaboration going on.
Jimmy Hotajavi. This turned cool, equals yeah, I want to talk as well.
Hey, let's do that. Let's do that. I draw school because I was a class where you draw stuff and that's where you only place to draw. I just like when we had like these sort of, I don't know what are these sort of...
Spurgilema. The shading has helped the eyes a good bit, although if you bring the right one a bit closer, I think it would be perfect.
Right one bit closer. This one.
If you color the eyes in red, the wolf will immediately become mean.
It will become an evil wolf. Let's try to move this a little bit. Who knows how we will do it. Let's see. So we have to... How do you do this in this program? Do you move it like... How do you move this picture? Let's see. Like this. No. I don't know how to move these things. I suppose I should move it, but I think it's in the right right position, I suppose. I'm perhaps not going to move it because it's going to be too much hassle, I tell you. Oh. But I think you're right about that. It might look, it has this sort of like a interesting look on it. I don't know. Might be right what you say. Might fix it, but I don't know this program completely. Let me still try it.
A cream. How about inverting the color once all done?
Inverting the colors? Why is that? Where that idea is from? Now I got it. Alright, so we put like this, and then here we go. Okay, now we can do this. Okay, so we go to the original spot. Does it now look better? Where can we put the eye? Like, this is what I like about the digital painting sort of fashion.
PBSA.
Sort of like,
a mean wolf with a smile. Smiledog.jpg
like
has been made again. Do
like
sudo rumar smiledog.jpg to remove it from your PC.
Of course, we have to save it like that. Smiledog.jpg. I think it now is much better. I suppose. Let's take it off. Here we go. We have to, of course, have to do the shading again from that part, but I think it's in a better position. And then let's make the eyes even better. It will become a very lovely, of course. If I would do a red eyes, I don't really. The Varg, the adventurer. He's a good guy, but of course has a kind of crazy face, of course, because his parents were very mean to him when he was younger. Of course, wolf society is not a nice society. Sometimes it's a very rough society. All right, there we go. Let's do the right in here.
Spurgilema. Bob Ross did say to turn mistakes into trees.
Bob Ross is then right. I don't know who Bob Ross is though, but sounds like a clever man, I tell you. Mistakes into trees. Mistakes into something that work. That is how to do things. How to do things in eluukkanen. I like digital painting just because of this. Like I can just change positions. I can do digital effects on it, but at the same time, I do want to connect it to the drawing spirit. This sort of like that we are doing over here. I suppose now we could actually start working on the eyes. So the eye moment is here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it. So first thing we're gonna be trying to find the color. I think the color is something around this. I suppose something like that. Yeah, let's do it. Now it starts to look even more anime than before. Very good.
Shadow the Parrot Gaming.
Shadow!
Turn mistakes into trees. Dark humor intensifies.
Okay. No, let's not hang anyone, I tell you. Let's not hang anyone.
PBSA. That is the Linux ubuntu command to delete directories, aka folders. Being you need to be careful with what you delete so you don't delete the equivalent to System32. Spurgilema.
Ah, yeah, don't delete
Same
that.
color as my
that
cat's
would destroy
eyes.
the machine. Same color as a cat's eyes. Kinda same, but it's kind of deep. I'm going to be adding some orange to it a little bit. Yes, that's the plan. We shall see how that goes. Because this is the iris we are doing right now. The iris, and it's going to be a very important part of the eye. Let's put it a little bit darker, sort of. So we're going to be having like when I studied eyes, there's this sort of flower petal sort of like a system you can do it with. I noticed. I might be wrong with that, but might work. We shall see. It has to be a bit darker than the original one. It has to be very dim as well. Here we go. Let's put the edges like that. Let me know how the wolf is going well. I don't know. But what do you say about that Linux Ubuntu command to delete all directories? I don't know about Linux and Ubuntu. I should be getting a Linux because then I would be getting away from the Microsoft. But I've been just using Windows all my life. Yes, I know what a mistake it is, but still, that's how things go. That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Spurgilema.
Here we go.
Eyes are the looking glass into the soul.
Yes, indeed. Very deeply said, and that is true. That is where you get the feel of person. That's when you have sunglasses on or something that covers your eyes. It gives you mystery, like a mask or something like it. If people cannot directly see your eyes, they do not trust you that much.
Akosi.
That's the thing.
Agree.
Very much true, I agree with that. There's some color over there. The thing is, there's some light in there as well. Let's add some orange.
If orange is used as a way to give a shadow effect to the eye, it would be a nice touch, I think.
Might be, let's do that right away actually. I think it might actually, yeah, who knows, who knows. Let's look at it from the very far away. It has not lighting yet, but the color it at least right, because we need to make, of course, light reflects from your eyes. And we can add, of course, a light colors of orange as well. Light colors. There we go. No, I don't know. I haven't actually. This logo looks like an orange slide. I don't know. His eyes like an orange slide. I suppose that. Yeah. Here we go. Let's put some deep, dark, and this in here, like the middle part right here. Let's put it. I'm going to be very much actually adding a dark put on this.
Spurgilema. You.
What is that? UV. I don't actually know. Can you someone explain what that UV thing means? I have no idea what that actually means when it comes to internet language. I've seen that used though. Here we go. Would be a pleasure to have you here, Spergelarma. I think you're first timer here. A very pleasure to have you. We do streams every day, and hopefully we might even see another times. Even so, yes, indeed. What do you stuff you do yourself? Do you do art? Do you like play games? I hope that's all. I don't know.
A cream. It's an emote.
It's an emoto. Oh, the ancient art of emotes. The way of giving emotions in land of online world. That's how you do it. There's something that I'm missing here, and I think it's the lighting. This sort of fashion you need to do it. Go through the
PBSA. In case of you jump into Linux, I use Ubuntu as is pretty simple to use. I would recommend you go to YouTube and see Linux tutorials for Windows users and install Ubuntu on a virtual machine.
A virtual machine could be, but is it a hard install? Like, is it? Do you have to pay someone something? I don't know. Let me know.
Spurgilema. I am a working man by trade, a welder.
Oh yeah, working man. Oh yeah, we have a 9 to 5 piece person. Or are you 9 to 5? Let me know. Or do you mean why working man on a trade welder? So is it like some kind of like a bank things? I don't know. Trade welder. Some sounds kind of like I don't know what that directly is though. Ubuntu is very much something I want to be using, man, because even Finnish army is now switching from the Windows, of course, because of the information.
I don't think you should pay. Safe. I once installed Ubuntu.
Ah, the Ubuntu. But I might actually check it out and use, not perhaps yet, but having a virtual machine to run that, I think is good. I think it's a good plan. What do you use to have Linux for things that Windows cannot be? Let me know. And we have the music stop playing again. That's not good. That's not good. Here we go. Oh, it's a very quiet track, it seems. Here we go. Now, here we go. So we have here an eye. An eye for an eye, an old saying. Here we go. Somewhat alrighty. Starts to look more of a creature.
We make construction equipment.
Construction. So you are like a engineer, or like you are like creating it in a kind of a factory environment. I don't know. I have no idea how that works. I'm not in the working in the area, but of course, working man, I appreciate. I very much respect.
Than the other two.
And what is that I didn't hear? Linux is usually much safer, of course. Windows has much more options.
That's why companies use them.
Yeah, that's why we should use them. I very much want to. My next computer is going to be Linux. But I've been using this computer for so long time, and I'm going to be using it even so, because the thing is...
PBSA.
That's good.
Linux distributions are mostly free, only few you need to pay, like Red Hat and some server distributions. Ubuntu is free to download.
Very nice. I'm going to be checking that out. If that is the case. Because the thing is... that is the way to go forward. We should be actually avoiding these sort of places. I've been noticing that Windows is just been changing bad to worse all the time. It tries to force me to install some updates that actually going to destroy my computer. And I've not really wanted to put these updates in, because I've noticed that once you do the installation, the updates that is given by officially by the whole thing, the computer actually gets worse. I've noticed this with my old computers. So I've been very much trying to find a new way to do this sort of stuff differently, and that's how I've been doing it. Here we go. Let's put the three-dimensional flower thing over there. Flowers. I don't know. I know that eyes are not flowers per se, but usually if you look at the iris, it has this sort of flower, kind of very strict flower.
Yeah, Windows updates can't be trusted.
Yeah, you can actually disable them. You have to manually go and disable them. Even if you do go onto settings and say no updates, they still force you to do that. You have to actually program that to your computer. I mean, like not task manager, but you have to like really go into the whole thing. And yeah, feels like programming to me, because man, I'm not really, as you know this, I'm not a computer person.
Hard rebooting my PC multiple times because of those buggers.
Goddamn buggers!
Linux confuses me. I still run Windows 10. Sadly, back in the day I ran Mac Osmium.
Mac, I don't know what Mac. Mac sounds like a mafia, because
yes, Linux is way safer and lighter. If I put high top, you need to install to have this working. To see what resource are being used. My PC with 8 GB of RAM is only using 2.5 GB, while Windows would use 5.5 GB.
There's some lovely programs in Windows. I don't remember the name of it, but it helps with that sort of thing you mentioned on there. But I tell you, like Mac is like a mafia thing, because I talked with my like a computer salesman that I know, and he said like if you put some of the hard drives to Mac computers, they only after that are going to work on Mac computers, so be aware of that. I'm like, why is that even a thing? Why that is even a thing? Why don't they work in every single one of them? I don't know. That sounds like that doesn't sound nice at all. I tell you that much. They should work in every single version. They should work always. And now the blackness of the eye. The middle part a little bit dimmer. Here we go. Now there's this sort of soul into it. Yay. But how is that you mentioned Spergularma, or was it Spergularma? I think it was, that you were working on this construction equipment. Is it a hard job? Is it how did you end up in that sort of area? Of course, people have different stories, people have different sort of ways on getting on a different sort of projects. I just happened to go to and very much look on the music side of things and started doing music, and now I'm doing music fully. That's what I'm doing. Of course. With some success, sometimes
PBSA.
not. That's how the whole
macOS is an operative system made by Apple. It's a closed system like Windows. Being it based a bit on Linux Ubuntu, and cost 5 times what it should cost.
Because of the brand. Yeah. I don't know that it actually was based on Linux though. That was interesting. Let's do some, oh no, not pink. Not pink at all. Let's do the orange sort of slicing thing on the outside of it, the shading as you mentioned. Someone here mentioned the eye shading.
These works might not represent my current music work, but
Here we go.
whoever you are.
Now we got some three-dimensional eye work over here. Good. Now let's add a little bit of the dimming to it. But it's kind of like a mafia, to be honest, and they are even in China having factories of
I live in a
child
small
workers.
town and just went to what was around since I didn't want to move to the city.
Nice! That is actually a very lovely goal, because I appreciate that. Many have to move to city because of the work, but very much lovely that you didn't do that.
And I use one program to reduce the amount of RAM being used. If is advanced system care. Being I also gave my Windows PC extra virtual RAM, if is slower, because it used the HD, but better than nothing.
I see. I don't know about too much about computer terms, so I must be very limited on that knowledge, but RAM I know. Advanced system care, virtual RAM I know that as well. If it's slower, of course, because the HD. But still. I get somewhat, yes, but I have to tell you, knowledge I got, limited knowledge, especially when it comes to computers.
A cream.
I don't know why I end
Apple
up
is a bit too bureaucratic in their service. Check out Louis Rosmar. He is a board repairer that has a lot of beef with Apple.
Let me actually put that again somewhere. Louis Rosman. Always suggestions given by people that are watching. Very much I'm going to check each of them, especially from people there that have some information. Because the technical information side of things, I have very limited stuff knowledge on. So all the information you can share is very much rightly appreciated. Now the outside of the pupils, we need to be putting some depth in there.
Apple is a bit too bureaucratic in their service. Check out Louis Rosmar.
Yeah, I personally, like, if that's kind of how they work on their machine, the Apple sort of fashion, especially their factories and such, like slave factories, that's essentially what they are. Like, in Western countries, you don't have child workers. Gladly, hopefully not, I don't know. There are, of course, laws in that. In England, on the old times, there were that, but of course, child workers work hard.
I did 2 courses about computer fixing, one that was the base of all, and another that went deeper into it, especially on servers.
I see. Computers are important. Good to know.
Mac got very bad in the late IITs and early 2000s. I used to love them, but now I despise them for the reasons
now they're
you
just
mentioned.
a brand thing. Yeah. Not very big fan of slave factories. I personally don't want of course, most of the made in China stuff is done by that sort of people. But still. But they have, like, publicly, they have those. Thing is, Mac got very bad in 90s. I've never got into Mac, so I cannot say that. I don't know what was the good thing about it personally, but I've heard that sort of same message come from others as well. So that's what we have made in how much time we have had? 3 hours of making this. Oh man, and we have got some progress for it. 3 hours of work, and this is the wolf we have had. Here we go. Walk the Viking wolf. I haven't had the glasses. Perhaps next time we're going to be doing more of the drawing. I'm going to be adding glasses and such for him. Or doing another animal full
On
together.
this crazy
For
time
3
I
hours,
ended up getting to learn better about Windows Server 2008 R2, 2012 and 2019, and Linux Ubuntu Server 18.044, as also
You're going
Bash
to be a
code,
wizard,
and now I am learning Python
Wizard,
coding.
Harry. If you are going to learn the coding language as such, I only know somewhat a JavaScript, but Python, if you know that, if you learn
Jimmy
that, you're going to
Hotajavi.
be a very, very good.
Viking Wolf.
Viking Wolf!
Nice work.
Whoa! Yay!
Jimmy Hotajavi.
Indeed so.
Vag.
Varg, the Viking Wolf. The great adventures in the Nordic pole against his arch nemesis.
Well done,
Jester
Elias.
the Fox.
For someone who says he's a novice, I find your wolf very convincing.
I suppose it's somewhat alright. But thank you very much for that. That means a lot to me. But I've done a lot of drawing, but I cannot say I'm a super excellent in it. I need to save this though, because otherwise if I don't, I can have a huge problem on my hands, I tell you. So let's see. But hey, thank you, Aiko. That's a huge compliment for an artist like yourself. Aiko does this sort of like paintings herself. Can we save this? Of course we can. Have to save this. Save. And the name is going to be Walk the Viking Wolf. Thanks for being here in today's stream. I thank you very much. I want to talk about PBSA and speculate on hopefully seeing you next time on the computer side of things. But 3 hours for anyone to watch us stream, it's quite a long while, I tell you. Walk the Viking Wolf. That's the name. So we did that. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream, watching the drawing process in action. Hopefully you enjoyed the drawing, at least how we did it. It kind of looks like a wolf, and I like the sort of the... it still would need a colors and such and more, but still, I think I like it. I like it far enough. Yeah. I appreciate you coming to stream.
Jimmy
Another stream
Hotajavi.
tomorrow. I don't know what we're
Waving
doing,
hand sign,
still,
take care all.
Hey, take care all the best. See you next time when it comes to another of the streams. All the best. Good day to you, people.